So much things. Mousy. Where Mousy? I need Mousy's help. Oh, what's this thing they've added? This reaction thing. Mousy. Oh wait, I'm going now. My audio. 1 sec. Poor Mousy. Mousy, I'll tell you in a sec. We're live. So my audio's not too loud. Okay, I need to check my audio level. How am I against this lo-fi? How am I against this lo-fi? Right, I'll rewind a bit. Against this lo-fi. Barely hear anything. Do I sound really low? How am I against this? Can't hear the lo-fi. But you are fine. Okay, the lo-fi is super low. Oh no, because I turned off the lo-fi, that's why I have to put it back on. So I was trying to hear me, like what my volume... Like, if you could let me know how I sound compared, because sometimes I listen back to the stream and it's like, I feel like the lo-fi is just way too, like it's overpowering. I'll turn it down a little bit. But it's hard for me to hear that until after I've done the show, you know. I can't hear the lo-fi. 1 sec, because I need to pause the lo-fi so that I can hear the stream back, so that's why you can't hear it. Oh no, because I turned off the lo-fi, that's why I have to put it back on. So I was trying to hear me, like what my volume... Like, if you could let me know how I sound compared, because sometimes I listen back to the stream and it's like, I feel like the lo-fi is just way too, like it's overpowering. I'll turn it down a little bit. But it's hard for me to hear that until after I've done the show, you know. 1 sec, because I need to pause the lo-fi so that I can hear the stream back. That's why. Okay, I think it sounds fine. Welcome, Thomas Garcia. Audio is perfect now, thank you. If anyone can hear me okay, then we'll be starting off. I'll take, I need this right now. Just need this basically. Basically. Okay, everyone, if you can hear me, thank you for joining me for the pre-show, and I'll see you all on the other side in the live show. So everyone head over to the YouTube chat. The YouTube is right here. I need to do an at everybody, so whilst I'm doing that, you all head over to go and watch it. Catch you on the other side. Except for Mac for some reason, who always stays in the room. Oh, he's gone. Okay. I need to do an at everybody. At everybody. Oh no, wait. Did the bot not do it? Hang on. Wait. Oh, the bot didn't do it. I don't know how to get that bot to work, man. The bot didn't do it. I wanted the bot to tweet out when I go to, not to tweet out, to send a message in this thing when I go live, and it didn't do it. I don't know, maybe I didn't have it set up right. It didn't do it. It didn't work. It really didn't work, huh? Oh, you stupid bot. No, I gave it the permissions to do it, so why didn't work? Everyone, it didn't work, so... Oh, God. I'm gonna have to test that stuff out later to try and get it to work. Anyway, because the bot didn't do that... Dumb bot. I'm gonna have to do it now, manually. So, let me just add everyone. And then we'll start the show after that. Okay, let's get started. Is anybody here? Let's have a look. Is anybody come through? There's people here! Johannes, hi! Mousy, welcome! Please hit the like button! Please hit that like button! I'm gonna pop out this chat. Pop out the chat. Pop out. Chat. Please hit the like button. Help us spread, get the word out about this show. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Okay. This week we have this random Kirby lo-fi mix that I found. I did listen to another one, but it wasn't very good. So this is the one we're going with. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, so it could be trash. But so far it's good. If everybody can hear me, we'll get started. Hello everybody, welcome to another Game Corner Shop live show. As I said just a second ago, we do have this Kirby Lo-Fi that we're trying out this week. Kirby's 30th anniversary but Lo-Fi, a Nintendo Lo-Fi mix. So, you know, so far it's okay. There was another Lo-Fi, but that one, you know, I wasn't really feeling that one as much, but this one's really nice and chill. And yeah, we just had like an extra long pre-show that went a bit long because we just had some like housekeeping, some community things that we were doing, discussing the server, and there will be another community stream that I'm hoping to do on either Sunday or Monday, early next week anyway. I'll do another community stream. So we can talk about things. Our server's growing, which is fantastic, but you know, there's certain things we need to do, like we need to get the rules set up, and you know, we can discuss that together as a community, what we're going to do. I have some ideas and just little things that we're doing to make running the community more streamlined with bots, and things that we're doing to make things more fun over there. So also we have the betting, you know, that we do every week. We bet usually like our weekly bets to do with like the Famitsu chart, different things like is this going to chart, and how much something's going to sell. For instance, last week we bet on like what would be the second week drop for Final Fantasy 16. We're going to talk about that. We do have a reigning champion over on the server for our betting, because the betting contributes to a tournament, and that is Johannes, who seems to have a very good insight in some of these sales. I don't know how, but they've cracked the codes and seem to be winning a lot. So congrats to Johannes in chat. But yeah, speaking of Final Fantasy 16, I really hope this lo-fi is not too loud. If it is, please tell me. I hate it when I listen back to the stream and it's like super loud. Right, let's have a drink. Okay. So speaking of Final Fantasy 16, we've got these sales to talk about this week. So we're gonna start off with the talking about the Famitsu sales and everything surrounding that, and then after I've done that and I've done my little, monologue or whatever about the sales, we're gonna invite everybody in as we usually do for calls. You can do that via Discord. The bot hopefully will drop the link in the chat. I did set the bot, I didn't do it as often, so it's not there at the moment. I'll get the link. Yeah, that's annoying. But yeah, so you can call in via our Discord server, and if you head into the waiting room voice chat, just wait in there, and then when I'm ready I will bring you into the on-air room. So that's the way that works. But it would be helpful if you could send me a message to let me know that you are in that room. And unfortunately sometimes people go in there and they're waiting and I don't realise that they're in there. So either you can send a message in the live chat for the live chat text channel, or you can just DM me directly to say, hey, I'm in the room. It's probably easier if you just DM me directly, to be honest with you, and tell me you're in that room. So I know, so you're not waiting around there for ages. So about these sales, now there was actually a few new releases this week, which we're going to talk about, and one that surprised me. I was surprised anyway. I think some other people were surprised too. But this is this week's Famitsu chart right here. So we have a new entry at the top. This is Raincode. I think it's called Master Detective Archives Raincode in Japanese. I think it translates to the same thing, but I can't read that. So let's get the Google Translate. Okay, oh, in Japanese, if you directly translate it, it's Super Detective Case Files. So if you translate it directly, but in the localized title, I believe it's Master Detective Archives. I guess you can say it's more or less the same thing, but you can't just. Sometimes you just can't translate something just like direct translation. Doesn't sound like that right, but yeah. So this game launched above my expectations. For some reason I thought it was going to be like 30 to 40k. It's actually above that. It's 55,000, which is fantastic for a release like this, which is a smaller release. It's not like a really big release. And really fantastic for a big success, I think, for Spike Chunsoft and Tokyo Games. They co-developed it, I believe, and this game sort of follows in the footsteps, or is kind of a spiritual successor to the Danganronpa series, which began, I think, on the PSP. And when we look at this sales history of the Danganronpa games, this is actually pretty favourable, because Danganronpa sort of began, the first game wasn't like crazy explosive out of the box. It was about 34k on the PSP, I believe. I think I did an image of it, right? Oh, this is an image, so we can't look through it properly, but so yeah, so here's the first one on the PSP, 34,000. So as the series went on, it gained popularity, and there was multimedia efforts. I believe there was anime and manga and so on, and so the series grew in popularity over time. So comparing Raincode with the first week's sales of the original Danganronpa, which I personally feel is the most appropriate thing to do, because once you get onto the later ones, those ones had the benefit of like you know, years of momentum and word of mouth and multimedia and everything. So the franchise grew by that point, right? So so by the time you had version 3 release, you know, it's like 85,000 first week on PSP and 47,000 first week on PS4, you know, but that's like you know, after years of build. So I feel like it's most appropriate to compare it to the first one, which it compares favorably with, because there wouldn't have been really, I think there was a digital store on a PSP, but digital would have been negligible for that game in 2010 when it came out. So Raincode launching with 55,000 with digital on top of that, which could be in the range of 20 to 30%, maybe a bit closer to 20%, not really sure, but somewhere in that range. I feel like that's a very, very, very strong result. And this is like a low-key sleeper hit, because like on the Comeg chart, to the Comeg pre-order chart, it was not, it didn't have that many points as in like pre-orders on that. So the Comeg chart, for people that don't know, I know it's not pronounced like that. I'm not getting it's called, it's like Kongunet if you look at the actual name, but I abbreviate it to Comeg. But anyway, it's just a chain of stores in one prefecture in Japan, right? And they've keep these pre-order charts, and they've got them going back years, like decades, I think. And basically, you are able to extrapolate from the pre-orders and like the once you get the actual sales chart, which releases once a week on a Monday their time, but for me it's a Sunday night. You can kind of like extrapolate and work out what or estimate, I should say, what the first week's sales would be of a game would be on a Famitsu chart, since that sales chart releases before the Famitsu chart on a Thursday, right? So you can do that, and like looking at the pre-orders, and you can actually compare it to pre-orders of previous games as well, and see, kind of, you get a rough idea. Now it's not accurate. Sometimes it's off and everything, because of like the type of game might be a game that someone's more inclined to go and pre-order it, right? So they might be more inclined to go and pre-order like games that are more niche, whereas games that are more casual maybe don't get as many pre-orders because people just go into a store and just pick them up. So it can be things like that. So you can get thrown off by that type of thing, but it gives us a rough idea. Raincode wasn't very high, wasn't getting that much points, but then when you looked at Amazon Japan, it went up to the top of that chart for a little while, and then it stayed near the top. Now actually I don't even know where it is now. We can take a look. I'm not sure. I think Kodaka did comment on the fact that it went up there to the top for a little while, but let's look on Amazon Japan and see where it is. Like, it's dropped down now, it's not there anymore. But let's see where it is. So first is Pikmin, then is I was gonna say Breath of the Wild for a second. I mean Tears of the Kingdom. Then a Pro controller. I was like, what? Not even like the Zelda one or a nice one, just like a bog standard Pro controller. I don't know why. Then Final Fantasy 16, then Mario RPG, then Super Smash Bros, Minecraft, and then Raincode number 8. So it has dropped down. But the fact that it was up there for so long was kind of like, hey, wait a minute. And because we've got the Amazon kind of gives us we can see the sales numbers now basically. I can't remember how I do it on here. I think I have to put I tried putting it into the basket to see if it would show up with the amount it sold. But anyway, you can see it on the app, and it'll tell you what it's sold in like a week or a month or whatever. And then looking at that, it was selling like several thousand. That were way more than what Comeg was showing. So it's like, oh, okay, so maybe this is going to sell more than Comeg was like. If you look at Comeg, the game was going to sell like 10,000. But 55,000. Oh, look, here's the Final Fantasy 16 DualSense controller, which they did not release outside of Japan. Don't get me started on that again. Like, Square Enix and their nonsense, man. Anyway. Square Enix be doing some nonsense, man, with these, like, why did you make that exclusive to Japan? Oh my word. Okay, look at these comments. Johannes is very happy about the being at the top of the chart. Johannes has got the Midas touch or something. I don't know what's going on. We'll see how long you stay at the top. We'll see when we get some more bets in. Mousy, you've got your bet you've got to do. Oh look, Streamlabs bot is here with the link. Thank you, Streamlabs. Mousy said it's within my expectations. The Amazon was huge for this game. I'm a little worried about global for Raincode. Mousy, I agree, because it didn't show up in the UK chart. I feel like it didn't show up in the UK chart, and it wasn't high on, I don't know about, how was it on the eShops, the global eShops? I might have to look into that. I don't know how it was on like global eShops, you know, maybe digital was higher. I know for hair, if anyone doesn't know, I actually bought like this collector's edition, which is called the Masterful Edition, right? I bought it from this shop called Shop 2, and they sent it in a huge box with no packaging. There's no packing material in this big box, and it was just like being banged around, it was rattling around in the box. So I opened it, obviously the corners were dinged, right? Like all the paint's cut, you know, not the paint, like the, what do you call it? You know, the print that is like come off the corners, right? So I called up Shop 2 today, and they said, oh, you know, we can replace it. You know, we'll see if it's still in stock, we can replace it for you. I said, okay. So they checked. It's like, oh, it's in stock. So this is a collector's edition that's like after launch, and it's still in. You can still just buy it. So it's not. This isn't like a popular game over here in the UK, right? So you can just get the collector's edition. So I'm going to return the one that I have and get one. And hopefully they pack it properly. I'm so annoyed, man. But anyway, hopefully they pack it properly, and you know, I'm not any high, like my backlog is like crazy long. The only thing I've played recently is Final Fantasy 16, and I'm only a few hours into that basically. You know, I've been not playing games as much because I've been putting more time into studying. So it's just like, yeah, you know, I'm trying to be consistent with my studying. You know, so unfortunately I had to sacrifice some gaming time, but it's for a good cause. It's for a good. Hopefully, we'll see. If I progress in Japanese, we'll see. GameKiller64 says, I'm curious of GameCode's interest worldwide. I'm ready to get my collector's editions in 2 weeks. The delay is quite unfortunate. Yeah, so I was just talking about the interest worldwide. I'm not entirely sure. I did hear that it, like, is that what you're talking about? Like, it's sold out? I heard that it's sold out in the US, or people couldn't get like irregular editions, not even collector's edition. They couldn't get them. So is that the delay you're talking about? So maybe it's one of those games where they just didn't print many of them, and that's why people have troubles getting a copy. It's probably one of those games that is going to go rare. I think it's going to go rare because I think they're not printing a crazy amount of them. So look out for that as well. When a Switch game goes rare, and you try and go and get that later, try going back and getting some of those NIS games they released before. Go back, go and look at the prices of some of those NIS games. If you don't get them, you know, within a reasonable amount of time, oh boy, it's not pretty, the price. They go way up. Johannes says probably will do well enough over time. I hope so. I hope it does well. What up, J Crew? Welcome, J2 Blur. Are you saying J Crew because like your name is J as well? The J Crew. Are we the J Crew now? The J Crew. Yeah. Because J2 Blue. J2 Blue in the sky. Johannes is also J. I need to enjoy my win whilst I can. Yeah. We'll see. You're winning so far. Like on I don't know, man. I think you're gonna end up winning again. Don't forget to everyone to go. In order to play, you need to have the coins, right? But the system is pretty generous in that you can get free coins every day if you just claim your daily loot boxes. It's not real loot boxes. It's not real money. Don't worry. It's just a game. It's just a fake thing. And you can get bonus loot boxes if you like vote on the top GG thing. A little link will pop up when you do it. So yeah, join our Discord server if you want to join in with our betting fun and other stuff. We're just a friendly, pretty chill server. We do joke about. We have kind of like we have some long running jokes over there that you will get to know after a while once you once you joined. And yeah, everyone's very welcoming and nice in the community. And since Twitter's imploded, you know, it's a place that we can hang out without the toxicity of Twitter. Twitter is extremely toxic. Just anything you discuss. There's some nice people over there, and I have met very nice people on Twitter. But it's just that I don't know what it is, man. There's just the nature of Twitter. Like, you can just say anything. I can just like tweet out sales figures and people just come at me. It's like, oh, well, you're trying to do this and da da da. It's like, good lord, it's just sales figures. Like, why are you getting bent out of shape? It doesn't. I'm just literally saying what it is. You know, I'm not saying anything that's not true. And people say, well, you need to do this. You don't understand. Oh my god, it's so annoying. Johannes says, I think it will be a low print run. I just got my copy delivered yesterday and the release date was June 30th. I ordered the standard edition. Did it release on June? Was it June 30th? Is that when it released? So you got it like a week later then? A week late then? Oh, is that what? Is that what happened? Like it was kind of like back ordered or that they didn't print enough of them. And that's why it took a week to arrive to you. Maybe they just really didn't print a lot. Mouse says, yeah, I don't think they expected a lot of copies out of Japan for Raincode. So yes, they probably printed like a low amount, and then the people that was already, you know, there's certain people that do want it. Maybe those few copies kind of sold out. Oh, the collector's edition plushie was delayed. Oh yeah, because there's a plushie inside the collector's edition, right? Oh, so they had to manufacture more of those. It did get an official delay in the US, the collector's edition. Is that right? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow. Well, anyway, Raincode is doing pretty well. And whilst we're talking about that, now I did... Oh my god, where is it now? Should we talk about this Raincode thing now? Whilst we've got that. So we might as well just do it in order. So they're just reading off all of the things. Now here's here's a tweet from Kodaka. Kazutaka Kodaka, who is the scenario writer for Raincode. Now he was at I believe this is Anime Expo. Here's the picture. Yeah, so he's at Anime Expo. So I think he did a panel there about Raincode. So that's all the people in you can see behind. So yeah, I think you know they was promoting it there. Yeah, so I think now I'm pretty sure he did. I have to look for this. I'm sure he did a tweet when it went to the top, when the game went to the top of the Amazon thing, and he was surprised. Let's see, so yeah, he was at obviously he's at Anime Expo. So this is the plushie that Billy Mac is talking about that he's holding right there. I can't zoom in on it. How do I zoom in on this thing? Huh? Oh, let me zoom. Oh, well, I can't. But anyway, he's holding it. Oh, you probably can't see it. Anyway, that little plushie he's holding is what is inside the collector's edition. Oh yeah, she has it here. Look in this picture. That. They included the plushie inside. So she has it there in that picture. So I'm almost certain he did a tweet like that. Oh, is this it? Is this the thing where they're saying they're doing? Oh yeah, so they're doing it. Is this where they're doing a manga for this? Hang on, we're gonna use the old deep L translate. Yeah. So they said they're already doing a manga for this thing. So they're doing multimedia stuff for this, like they did for Danganronpa. I had the pleasure of drawing an outside manga for the game. I don't know what it means by outside manga. Well, yeah. This kanji here means out. I don't know what that means though. For Raincode, which was released today, is a casual, spoiler-free gag, so if you haven't played it, please read it. So you can read it, but it is all in Japanese. There's different images here, and it's not even just in Japanese, it's like in hardcore. It's that hardcore Japanese where they don't put any furigana on the goddamn kanji. It's like full-on hardcore Japanese. That's what I call it when they don't put furigana. Hardcore Japanese. So, yeah. So yeah, they are making a manga for this, right? So they are doing like multimedia efforts. Here's Kadako again at Anime Expo. No, I'm sure he tweeted out when it was at the top of the Amazon thing. Well, I don't know, because it might be one of these tweets here, but I can't be reading all these things, man. I can't be doing this. Well, anyway, he did tweet. I don't have the. Oh no, here it is. Here it is. I did find it. Oh, this is someone. No, okay, it wasn't Kadaka. It was. Who's this? Who's this person? I don't know who that is, but anyway, that's probably one of the developers or something. Anyway, they tweeted out when they saw it at the top of the Amazon. It may be momentary, but #1 in the Amazon game category, Kita, which is like coming or it's coming, an abbreviation of coming or something. Came. Only 2 hours to go until Raincode goes on sale. I think that's what it is, or it's a little, or it might be a onomatopoeia or something. I don't know what that is. But yeah, so it was. But this was back on, what's the date of that? June 29th. June 29th. It was there for a day or two. It was a day or two. I was looking at it and it was there. So that, because it went up to the top like that, that kind of like did give me an indication like, hold up, is this gonna be, you know, this is gonna sell more than I initially thought. So okay, so yeah, that's that. Oh, there's more comments here. Let me read your comments. Xander A, welcome. I don't believe I've seen you here before. Welcome to the show. Kadokawa or I guess you mean Kadokawa and Chunfuss, I presume, are projecting expectation of 1 million? Are they? 1 million? Holy... You think it's gonna sell a million? I don't know about that, man. That would be... No, I don't know, 1 million. I don't know, man. 1 million is... I think it's a bit too optimistic. You think they're projecting 1 million? I think if they was projecting 1 million, they would have made more... Oh my god, yeah, Johannes, thank you. Those are the kanji for Gaiden. Thank you. Okay. So, okay, so, oh right, that's what it means. It's a kanji for Gaiden. Where's that tweet I was looking at? You see? Your Japanese is really good. I can't read, like, most kanji, to be honest with you. I told you, I'm like N5 level, so I'm really low level. My Japanese is almost non-existent, but I have been studying. Where did that tweet go? I have been studying. It's the kanji for Gaiden. Oh, that's what it means. They've just translated it as outside. Well, anyway, I don't know where that tweet went, but you know what I mean, what I was talking about. Okay, so... God, I don't know if that's what I'm trying to... Oh, here it is. Yeah. These kanji right here, right? These two. These other two mean manga, right? Those two there. Right, yeah. Look. Yeah. Japanese is so difficult. Your Japanese is good. Your Japanese is good, yeah. Yes. Yeah, like a spin-off. Yeah, okay, that makes sense from the way they was describing it. Yeah. Mousy says they are not expecting a million for Raincode when nothing they've done is close to that. Yeah, have Spike Chunsoft or Tokyo get certainly they have not sold that. None of their games have sold a million before, right? I think a million is way too high. I mean, this would be a success if it got to 500,000, which I don't even know if that's possible. I think obviously it's going to be, I would say over 100,000. I think is guaranteed. So maybe I don't know what the expectations. Maybe they like 2 to maybe 400,000, maybe for this. I'm not really sure, but not a million. A million would be like a runaway, like crazy, you know, completely out of nowhere success, and that would depend at this point, because we've got the first week sales with Japan. That'll depend on legs, and I don't think it's going to have that many legs like that. To be honest with you, Xander A. Yeah, so I don't know. Spike Chunsoft, what's their highest? Does anyone know what their highest selling game is? Oh no, don't say I know you're gonna say it is. You're gonna say it's Dragon Quest. I mean, of their own stuff, like their own IP that they've done, not like Dragon Quest, something like that, like their own IP. What's their highest selling their own IP? Vinnie Max says clearly it's possible, but extremely unlikely since you can watch a stream and get the same effect. Oh, so this. You see what Vinnie Mac is doing here? He's just low key dissing the game because it's a visual novel. That's you're describing every visual novel at that point. And I think this game has decision making and stuff in it anyway. Vinnie Mac. And for first, that would be any visual novel, and a lot of games that are like more cinematic type games. Like people watch streams of the games. People watch streams of games, but then they also buy and play them. Vinnie Mac. Now, you can argue that about a lot of games that isn't like just gameplay completely heavy. This music is, I think this music is kind of repetitive as well. What I mean is, it's going on the same track for a long time. What do you think? Oh, well, this track's nearly finished. It's fine. God almighty, that's a long old track. The hell? It's like a 10-minute plus track. Yeah, so I remember before Raincode launched, and like some time back, there were questions about why it was Switch exclusive. This game's Switch exclusive, but then other games were at the time PlayStation exclusive, and have not. I think since they've released they've released Danganronpa on other platforms since then. But at the time, it was like PSP, PS Vita, and then eventually the PlayStation 4. I don't know if they ever went on PlayStation 3, but you get what I'm saying, right? I have this image here. No, not PlayStation 3, because that was... Yeah, they didn't do that. This was just, kind of a more visual novel series. PSP, and I'm sure I actually don't have it. This is one of the things I should have got. I'm sure you don't remember. I'm sure you probably do remember that presentation. I think it was Kodaka that did that presentation at GDC about Danganronpa. Do you remember that? Hang on, I'm gonna find it. Danganronpa GDC. Okay, so this was in 2015. So he talked about Danganronpa at GDC in 2015, and this is the famous thing I wanted to talk about here. Oh my god, how do I make this bigger? Right, so this people really know about this slide. Why won't people buy a Vita? Now you remember this is look, March 2015. Okay, so at that point, how many of these games had released? So like 2015, like means that this was before Danganronpa 3. So they were probably in the middle of making that one, version 3. Yeah, but these ones had already come out, right? And when we know what happened to the Vita, it kind of flopped and was not doing well worldwide. So that's why going from the PSP, right, and then the successor to the PSP was the PS Vita, and it sold well in Japan, right? So Danganronpa, and they re-released them and everything. It sold well in Japan. The problem was that it wasn't the system, the Vita, was not selling well worldwide. So someone might have more knowledge on this than me. Sorry about the motorbikes, noisy motorbikes. Someone might have more knowledge on this than me, but the Vita just wasn't doing well worldwide, right? So presumably the reason why Kodaka bought this up at that GDC thing was because it meant that the game wasn't selling well worldwide. So, oh my god, let's close this down. Let's go. So, and then it's like, yeah, so GDC presentation about the game. Now the thing is that so this has got spoilers in it. Well, I'm sure people know the basic premise of that game, but I won't have spoilers in it. Okay, so as you can see the full panel here. But my point is that basically that was a platform that was not doing well. And like, what is this? Is the Danganronpa creator married? What did the Danganronpa creator do? Will Raincode be like Danganronpa? Will there be a Danganronpa 4? These questions, man. These bloody questions. That's so random. So that really distracted me. That's so weird. Oh, I see. I'm reading the chat. Sunday, thank you for welcoming me. I'm usually in the Play Essence channel. Oh, I see. Right. Got ya. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm often over at Play Essence as well. Love his content. He's one of my favorite content creators. Awesome. Nice to have you here, Xander. Please feel free to join our Discord channel. How did you hear about this channel, by the way? How did you find us? Because we're very, very, very small. It's hard. It's hardcore nerds here. Hardcore nerds. I don't know. Some people know me from Twitter. I guess when I did the Twitter Spaces with Genki, when we used to do that, this show started off as a Twitter space. And then we moved it over because of the nonsense going on Twitter and everything, right? So we moved it over to Twitter, and then Genki had to he couldn't continue doing the show because of his own commitments and stuff. Oh, so the highest selling is AI the Somnium Files? Is that right? I thought that didn't sell a lot. Did that sell a lot? Let me Google that. AI some. Oh my god, how does one spell it? Somnium Files. I'm trying to put worldwide sales. Sales figures. Oh no, this is just a game on sale. No. Oh, hang on, how do I find, was it ever announced? No, they're just gonna, hang on, let's see the reception bit. Let's see. Oh no, this game did not do well. In Japan, the game failed to chart in the Media Crate top 10 and Famitsu top 30 in its release week. Damn. In 2019, it failed to chart. The PlayStation 4 version ranked 27th with 2,267 copies sold, while the Nintendo Switch version was 33rd with 1,767 copies in the Dengeki top 50. So this is, yeah, so it was in the I think I remember looking this up before. It's in the Dengeki top 50, but didn't chart on Reader Crate or Famitsu. The PC version was among the best-selling new releases of the month on Steam. The game was nominated for Famitsu at the 50 Dengeki Awards. Yeah, so it didn't do that well. So this is their best-selling game? It didn't even chart in Famitsu or Media Crate? Is that right? Sorry, I shouldn't play around with that bloody pen. Oh my lord. I want to know the lifetime sales. Steam stats. Famitsu sales. She didn't chart, did it? No. I can't find any information. Not that they officially announced anything anyway. I'm pretty sure it'd come up here. I don't think it did that well. Are you sure this is the best selling game? If you know any sales figures, can you drop it in the Discord? Was it on the PC? It did well. It said PC, but it didn't. It didn't. Oh really? Johannes says the English versions were previously published by NAS America. Now Spike Chunsoft handles that. The English versions of what? Do you mean Danganronpa or do you mean AI? Xander A says SMT could never do a million until 5. Lol. Kodaka also comparing Triangle Strategy and Deerfield. Yes, I have that. Thank you for that. We're going to get onto that right now. I have that quote. Johannes says I don't think I've seen sale figures for that game. Johannes says I believe Uchikoshi games have a big appeal in the West. Is that right? So is Uchikoshi the person who did the AI games? Is that who that is? They especially do on PC. Visual novels do well on PC comparatively. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, the AI and Zero Escape games. Yes, thanks. Yes. The AI and Zero Escape games. Right, okay. Right, so yeah, I do have that quote. So here's the quote from Kodaka. This is from earlier in the year. So people asked why Raincode, why made it exclusive to Switch when as I said, the Danganronpa games, which these are kind of like a spiritual successor to, and hasn't a lot in common with them, including it's got basically the same character designer, who has a very distinctive style, right? So obviously the look is very similar. So let me enlarge this slightly because I don't know if you can all see it. Oh man, no, that made it worse. Okay, so the writer Kazutaka Kodaka has spoke to Demi Fami Nico Gamer. Okay. Right. Spike Chunsoft revealed Raincode in a Nintendo Direct. I believe that was the one that was like in February, March time. The news may have been surprising for some, as Kodaka's previous series Danganronpa was largely associated with PlayStation. Now, I would like to. I imagine an alternative universe. As I thought about this, I imagine an alternative universe where this game, they did make it for not for Switch and they had made it for PlayStation. I mean, like, exclusively. Because obviously they could have made it multi-platform at launch. They didn't, though. And if we're going to read this, they're going to explain why it's not multi-platform at launch. Now, the game may and probably will be ported at a later date, but they decided not to launch it multi-platform, right? So here's the explanation as to why they decided not to. In just 1 second. Okay. Make sure I'm not missing any of your comments. Okay, so here's our so this is Nintendo Everything. I did this because I looked at this site because they have a translation of the whole excerpt, where some other sites only had a little bit of it. Kodaka. The response from overseas has been great. There's already things like fan art. It's not easy to reach a wide range of people with an initial announcement, so Nintendo Directs are great. We talked about potentially making it multi-platform before, but this announcement made me realise the effect of narrowing it down to one platform. It would be a different story with a AAA title, but there are so many AA and A titles that it would get buried if it were multi-platform. It was Spike Chunsoft who made a decision to make it Switch only, and I think it was a wise one. Now this is the interviewer. So the interviewer said this part, okay? Not Kodaka, but we'll see how this goes, right? So yeah, it was the interviewer who said that bit about Deerfield and that so on, but we'll read it, okay? So the interviewer says, a common pattern I see with successful indie games is to release as a Steam exclusive, climb the Steam rankings and be noticed by new people that way. The same can be said for the Switch. Climbing the Switch rankings puts the games out in front of a new audience. To reach those who don't consume media, climbing the rankings is about the only opportunity. Kodaka says, exactly. If we made it multi-platform, it would certainly be buried and lost. The interviewer says, Nintendo Direct has much more influence than State of Play, so it seems like an advantage of making it Switch only. Although developed by other companies, Nintendo Direct announced Triangle Strategy, while State of Play announced the Deerfield Chronicle, both of which are Square Enix games with similar needs, and yet their sales numbers are completely different. I don't think that's an issue of the games themselves, it seems like a difference in promotion from my outside perspective. Kodaka. Another factor in our decision to release it for the Switch only was that it's an adventure game. I think if another company decided to make a new IP for the Switch, they would have a hard time if it were mainly CGI because of the Switch's hardware limitations. We were able to make Raincode because it focuses mainly on the story. We're going to release more promotional videos, some of which will feature the Mystery Labyrinth. So I hope the variety there catches people's interests. So, and this was, yeah, I think they didn't even have a release date at this point. So yeah, so it was actually the interviewer who said that part about who compared Triangle Strategy and Deerfield. And Kodaka didn't seem to comment directly on that. So, but I mean, this interviewer is a journalist for a gaming magazine or gaming outlet. Let me see this. Demi-Nico Gamer. This is a gaming outlet in Japan. So, you know, they're saying from there, they're obviously looking at games and stuff. That goddamn game that Square Enix refuses to release this Bonding Boys game that they made. Square Enix, man. Here's the thing. Oh my god, Yuji Naka got banged up. We should talk about that. Yuji Naka's got banged up. He's banged up. Yeah, yeah, well, I don't know. I didn't talk about that, but yeah, Yuji Naka is he's going to prison. He's already in prison. Well, why would it? They're talking about 13 Sentinels as well. Oh, this interview is long, man. Good lord. Yeah, well. So I don't know. I feel like maybe this, you know, that's just a general comment that the interviewer made. Like from their observations, right? So that's something that someone that's kind of like in gaming journalism in Japan was thinking, although it wasn't Kodaka. Oh, I hate Kiki's coming here to Yuji Naka's defense. He's not technically he's not in prison. He's in good behavior. What? Oh my god, these Sonic fans. He's technically not in prison, he's on probation. If he's on good behaviour, he avoids jail. Okay, Kike, alright. He's technically not in jail, whatever. He's in a lot of trouble. He's been a very naughty boy. God, man. Can't even say anything. These goddamn Sonic fans. Good lord. Anyway, I just want to look at the front page of this site. God, this is just like article after. It's just everything like all. This site is like very compact, shall we say? I was just curious about what type of site, how this site looked. Anyway, let's get on to the rest of this chart. He's not with Sonic, so whatever happens. Oh, okay. So is it like that? So you didn't jump in because he's one of the creators of Sonic. That's not why you just jumped in just then, was it? Why did I just click on that thing? Oh my god, that music stopped. Okay, do you want to continue that mix? Where's it gone now? That Kirby mix or something else? I don't know. Anything else would be like I've got to vet it again. Because I don't know. This music's okay, so I guess it can stay. It's okay. Okay, so let's look back at the chart. We got sidetracked. We go back. Now, I thought we'd do all the Raincode stuff in one thing. That's most of it. I don't know anything else I wanted to say. Just that I think it performed really well. And this is a sleeper hit. When I see how legs are, sell-through was, you know, decent. I think retailers made the right call here, what we can see. So we'll have to wait and see how legs is and how this does. Worldwide, I'm not so confident, to be honest with you. I'm really not confident about it worldwide, especially in the UK. It seems to have flopped in the UK. But we don't know about everywhere else. Like, we'll have to wait and see. I don't expect it to be very high on the NPD or Cicada, whatever it's called. Cicada. I don't know. Whatever it's called. I don't expect it to be very high if it charts at all on that. Would it chart? I don't know. It will have like a whole no, let's see. Oh no, it won't chart. Wait, hang on, when's the cut-off? If it released on June 30th, when's the cut-off for that? I know the cut-off isn't exactly on the day. I'm sure Mousy knows. Mousy? Is she here? Mousy? Where Mousy? BLB. Oh, Mousy's gone. R says no. R, welcome. Are you no? Welcome. What's the no for? No. They don't. The cut-off isn't. Are you saying no, Mousy's not here? I'm not sure. R, but welcome anyway. Okay, maybe we'll come back and we can talk about Raincode in the discussion portion. But now let's talk about Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 is the second week of sales now. It's in at number 2 with 37,763. Okay, the total's now 373,000. It launched at 336,000. Right. So now the second week drop was going to be very interesting because the launch was so low, right? So it's kind of like the launch that we know, the physical launch was like 50% lower than Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Final Fantasy 15. Also, we didn't get any PR from Square Enix regarding the Japanese sales. So we did for the previous big Final Fantasy game, which was Final Fantasy 7 Remake. They included in that PR that gave the worldwide figures. It also gave the Japanese figure. At that time, I think it was like 3.5 million worldwide in 3 days, and 1 million of that was in Japan. We didn't get that data this time around, which kind of suggests to me that it wasn't very good, like including digital. Obviously we know the physical. When you include digital, it's probably, you know, getting up to like 450, 500,000. So if we assume it was 500,000, which I don't know exactly, but even if you assume it's about 500,000, that's still like, that would be 50% lower than Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which is probably why they didn't want to report on that, and they just gave the worldwide figure, right? But you can kind of like read between the lines, and it wasn't very good. Now, Final Fantasy dropping to 37,000 is actually pretty normal for a Final Fantasy game. Like, most of them drop about 90%. This was like an 89-90% drop. It's actually pretty normal for that, especially RPGs, just in general. RPGs, JRPGs, whatever you want to call them, they're just really front loaded. They like most of the sales are at the beginning, and that's like just in general. In Final Fantasy's case, it's also it's the same for Final Fantasy. So we saw the same for Final Fantasy 16. I saw this like about 89-90% drop. Now, what's interesting is we had some tweets and basically an article by Mochizuki of Bloomberg, okay, and I have Deep L translated it here. I've got the article, but so what Mochizuki had to say is it was interesting. He also made a few comments via Twitter. So yeah, Mochizuki is a writer for Bloomberg, okay? So he does gaming and tech reporting for Bloomberg. So basically what he's commenting on here is that Square Enix was clearly aiming this game. They wanted it to sell more in the West, but it kind of looks like they've sacrificed the sales in Japan for that, and it seems like they just were some people that are just in Japan that were just not on board with the direction of Final Fantasy for the sales to drop so much from where it was before, and also the fact that it's only PS4. They made the decision not to put the game on the PlayStation 4. Now I think Mochizuki actually comment, if I can get the full tweet. Oh no, not that. Like the full tweet thing. How does he have Super Mario Bros? Oh, it's not real. How does he have that? That's Genki. So how does he have the copy of it? No, it's a fake copy they have in the retail stores. Oh my god. Let's have a look here. Now, to go back not that far to where he commented on, but he was talking about Final Fantasy 16. Now, first of all, he had like obviously the figures of this second week drop excluding download sales. These are the Famitsu sales, right? So as I said before, it's pretty usual for this to drop. If you look at these three here, which I don't know why this is so small. If you look at here, Final Fantasy 15, the second week, so it went from 716,000 to 72,000. So again, roughly 90%. 7 Remake went from 700,000 to 70,000. Again, roughly 90%. And then Final Fantasy 16 went from 336,000 to 37,000. Again, roughly 90%. So that's the norm, basically, for Final Fantasy. So yeah, I never saw this. I didn't see this. Oh wow. Okay, so Mochizuki did a poll and he asked the question, Final Fantasy 16's sales in Japan weak versus 15 so far, you blame. The options were the game, or another option was PlayStation 5 install base / download, Japan is Switch, or macroeconomic conditions. And what came out top was Japan is Switch with 36.8%. The second was PS5 install base / download with 34.6%. The fourth one was game. I guess they mean the game itself, like how appealing the game is, I suppose, with 19.5%. And last was macroeconomic conditions with 9.1%. Oh my god. What are the comments here? So Derek Strickland of Tweaktown says 3 out of 4 seem to be valid choices. Switch, PS5 install base and macroeconomic conditions are all slightly big factors. Well, those hold up, back up. Those macroeconomic conditions that seem to affect Tears of the Kingdom. Whoa. Those macroeconomic conditions did not affect Tears of the Kingdom. That sold 1 million physical and another 1 million digital. Whoa. We need to put the brakes on there. Hold up. Why is this localized to just Final Fantasy 16 and the PlayStation 5? Anyway, he continues. 7 Remake had the benefit of a huge PS4 install base, but also went against the Switch. 15 had no competition. Well, Switch didn't exist. It was 2016, wasn't it? And a simultaneous worldwide launch on Xbox and PlayStation. That's true, but he's talking. This is about the Japanese sales. Genki says it's all of the above. Oh no, we're not looking at that person. Oh my god. Yeah. Anyone who's been around for a while knows about this person here, and knows about that. Okay. I blame exclusivity. Japan is Switch, but I can't say the game is without fault either. The game is fine, you know. In terms of like, is it a good game? It's a good game. It's just the direction of it, because they've changed. I think they've changed the tone and everything. Like, it's pretty far removed from how Final Fantasy used to be. Like, there's still elements of, you know, older Final Fantasy games there, but like, there's just a lot of stuff has been changed. I think the tone and the art style is part of it. Patrick Adams, welcome Patrick Adams. Patrick Adams says, dethroning Final Fantasy, Zelda dethroning Final Fantasy 16. Why am I not surprised? Where did that happen? I know it didn't. Well, not this week. It's like, it's below it on the Famitsu chart. But it did actually rise, and we'll talk about that. It didn't dethrone it on the Famitsu chart. It's right below it. Although next week maybe it will be above it, since it's been on the chart since, when did this game come out? It's been on the chart for ages at this point. Let's see here. Xander says Genki is upset that the guys who banned in Japan PS to have no traction there. Personally, I don't think put into factor Japanese feel betrayed. Oh, in the UK, so was he FF16? Oh yeah, that's true. In the UK. In the UK it did, yes. Maybe just this again. Genki's upset that there are guys who abandoned Japan PS to have no traction there. Personally, I don't think puts into factor Japanese feel betrayed. I'm not sure I understand the second part of your sentence. I mean, I'm sure there are some Japanese people who just don't feel like that PlayStation is for them, and yes, that I have seen comments, like anecdotally, I've seen some people say stuff like that. In general, we don't know because no one's actually gone and like did the whole like a survey or something to say how people feel, how they perceive PlayStation in Japan nowadays. No one's ever done any research on that, to be honest. So we don't really know. Genki, Genki and I used to talk about this all the time, about PlayStation and what's going on in Japan, and Genki's like main concern was that like, oh well, those type of like games that are designed to be played on the TV or AAA games or whatever are just going to become like a rarity in Japan. What I said to Genki is that basically like I don't think that's gonna happen. You're still gonna have a PlayStation that will always have those games, because in this whole time since the Switch released to now, PlayStation has not received any less of any of these games. You might have an odd thing like, oh, Raincode, they decided to put it on the Switch instead of play. That's like one like tiny little AA game. Like most go on PlayStation, and we're going to talk about in a sec. The most of them all release on PlayStation. Most games. So it's not like they've got any less releases. Like they still will be these games releasing on PlayStation. You will still be able to get a PlayStation in Japan. I think the impacts that's going to be long term is with recruiting developers. To be honest with you, I think that's the long term impact is going to be recruiting developers in Japan in the future. But that's like a long term thing that's happening. But I don't think it's going to be any less games on PlayStation. And I mean that's what I haven't had a conversation with Genki for a while, but back then when we did the show, that's what we would talk about and what we would say, and we would see these sales like going down and down and down and down and down and down, and basically just like, I just felt like PlayStation just wasn't doing, well, they still are not doing anything to be more appealing in that region, and then they've just done a lot of stuff that have probably turned Japanese fans off. So I don't, I would say to Genki, don't be concerned about PlayStation not getting games. And did you delete that comment? Where's that comment when you said that? You deleted it, Xander? But anyway, even if you deleted it, I still responded to it. Japanese people were angry at 16 being exclusive to the PS5. Or do you mean being exclusive to PlayStation in general and it's not on the PS4? Or do you mean just not being on Switch? Or do you mean that it's on PS5 and also not on PC? Or is it all of that? I don't know. Let me know. Where are you hearing that they're angry? Where have you got that from? Did Genki say that? Patrick Adams. With the destruction of Twitter, that means gaming companies could be expected to undergo lesser sales and reach. Games that are PlayStation only at a time like this, that's a death wish. Well, I think that Twitter... Well, listen, we're not going to get into it. That's beyond the scope of this show. But there have been a lot of issues with Twitter. And it's one of the reasons that I am not using Twitter much anymore. I still do there's some tweets about the sales and stuff like that, but I'm not active like I was there. I'm certainly not like looking and scrolling anything, because everyone's rate limited. You know, they put these limits in where you can only see a certain amount of tweets and stuff like that. And I think that gaming is one of those industries and fields where like a lot of it did move over to PlayStation. Sorry, not PlayStation. So I got distracted because we were talking about PlayStation. It moved over to Twitter rather than other social media. They're still on our, you know, all these gaming companies do still have accounts on all the other social media as well. But when there's like announcements and things, it always tends to be on Twitter when we look at announcements and all this stuff, and the community of so it's known, like it's on Twitter. I think Patrick Adams, I think that if Twitter does go under and they no longer get reached like in terms of advertising and stuff like that, then they will just move to another platform, become more active for that type of thing. At this point, maybe Instagram, although Instagram is more, because it's not photos, it's more like it might be Instagram that would be that, or maybe you know, they're doing that threads or whatever it is over on Instagram or Meta, whatever they're doing that. So I mean, yeah, and I think it's gonna affect all games, not just PlayStation only games in Japan. It's gonna affect, it's affecting everything, not even just games. I think for some games, if you're talking about like niche games that were PlayStation, if it's a big game, like for example, you know, Final Fantasy 16, or which sales affected anyway. But if it's like a big game, like it not being on Twitter is not really gonna make that much difference. Or not getting reach on Twitter is not going to make as much difference. It would affect the smaller games, but even then, like I think it tends to be hardcore people that are looking for that type of stuff anyway, and they probably you know, are probably looking on Twitter or other social media and stuff. But yes, it's gonna affect everything in general. Yeah, I do think it's gonna affect a lot of stuff. Sandra said PS5, they wanted it to be on PC, see, and Famitsu reported it back in 2022. Yeah, I you know, and I think that's true, and I actually agree that I think it should have been on PC at launch. I don't know what the hell Square Enix are thinking not putting that game on PC at launch. They've really affected the sales of it. I don't know, because you can say, oh, well, it's because of Sony, everything, but they had exclusivity agreement for Forspoken, which launched also on PC. So, and not only that, Sony puts a lot of their games on PC themselves, like their own games. So I don't know why. Now, if you've heard, obviously, Yoshida, he said that basically, oh, well, we wanted to concentrate on the PS5 version, and it's going to take us some time to do this PC version. It's going to be more than, the exclusivity runs out of 6 months, but it's going to take us more than 6 months. That's what he said. But the problem is that, like, Square Enix isn't some rinky-dink little company that can't get PC versions out at launch. They're Square Enix. They are huge, okay? They could have got a PC version out at launch, and that is what they should have done. Do I think it's affected sales to not have the PC version? Yes, I do. So I understand people saying that in Japan, but it's not. It's that issue isn't just. I think that issue is just particular to Japan. That particular issue about it not being on PC. I think that's a worldwide thing, that it should have been on PC at launch. Even if you're going to make it exclusive to PlayStation 5, because you decide that's not to say you. I mean, because Square Enix decided not to make a PS4 version, then also not making a PC version. That's extremely limiting. It would have been better if they had a PS4 version, but yes, even if they don't have that, they needed to have a PC version. So I agree, and yeah, people are annoyed, and it's probably going to take like a year for a PC version. They're not going to have it out in 6 months, that's for sure. Going by what Yoshi P was saying. So, J2 Blue says, I can't tell if that guy's the biggest troll on the internet or he really believes what he says. I think he's a troll. So there was one tweet from him that said something like, "Oh, I really want Zelda 2 is the best Zelda. I want Nintendo to remake that," or some nonsense like that. So he's a troll. No one thinks Zelda 2 is the best goddamn Zelda game. Like, what are we doing here? So yeah, anyway, going on to, I got sidetracked. So going on to these, looking back at these tweets from Mochizuki, so obviously we was looking at that. Let's read the rest of his tweets. Mochizuki says, now, what would you do to prop up appeal of Final Fantasy brand image in Japan? So Mochizuki's tweeting about this a lot, and he made a story, so he obviously thinks this is an issue, right? Here's the answer. Make a good game. Look at this person's name. Elon is a man, baby. Put it where the players are. Obviously Switch wouldn't be able to run the game properly. However, I do think the deal Sony cut with Square Enix would compromise for potential multi-platform sales. Someone else says the next mainline Final Fantasy needs to be primarily on Switch with digital ports to other platforms. It also needs to return to a more turn-based style. This game has zero appeal to me. It looks like an expensive Devil May Cry ripoff with almost no Final Fantasy heritage. So it's just this person's opinion, okay, that's saying that. Another person called Alan says, advertise heavily on the fact that it's much more popular in the West. My co-workers were absolutely shocked when I told them Dragon Quest was a bit niche and Final Fantasy was far more popular. Yeah, but Mochizuki's saying in Japan, so I'm not saying saying it's popular in the West is going to make it more appealing in Japan. I don't understand that. Muted Penguin says, ensure that the next version can run on Switch 2 as well as the PlayStation 5. The same with Dragon Quest. With Switch 2 supposedly having DLSS, you just need to make a game that can never natively run at 540p/740p on the Switch 2 with DLSS to boost it to 1080p/1440p and target 4K on the PS5. Let's just read, one more. Some Judge 99 says, if being a Japan brand is still a priority to Square Enix, and associate Final Fantasy with Nintendo as much as they do with PlayStation, if not more. But Square Enix keeps changing plans. I think the last public plan stated was that Square Enix will focus more on the global market outside of Japan and NFTs. Yes, that is what they... Oh my god, the NFT thing. We'll have to see what Airbus Kiryu-san does, right? I don't know, man. Do you have faith in Airbus Kiryu-san? Let's see. Zombie Tech Pad. Hi peeps, happy Friday. Hi Zombie Tech Pad, welcome. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. We are talking about, as we always do, sales. Look at Mochizuki's tweets because he actually had some interesting tweets. Now we're gonna look at this article in just a sec. Here's a preview. So Toyo Securities analyst Hideki Yasuda said it would be difficult to sell more without a deep price cut. This is in relation to Final Fantasy 16 and what happens there. Mochizuki says, some say Final Fantasy 16's weak sales are due to elements out of Square Enix's control. No, it wasn't. It was Square Enix that decided to launch the game on PS5 only on June 22nd at $69.99. No one else is. Mochizuki's being kind of scathing. Not pulling no punches! He continues, I think it's entirely possible to sell a few million copies in Japan at launch while making that game global blockbuster. Don't say leaving Japan behind is something you can't help with. If you can't help with if to pursue Don't say leaving Japan behind is something you can't help with if to pursue more non-Japanese fans. Yeah, so it's a bit difficult to read, but obviously Mochizuki's first language isn't English, so what Mochizuki's saying here is that basically, like, it's not inevitable that you, in order to pursue a worldwide audience, that you have to just leave Japan behind and the game doesn't sell in Japan and your game doesn't sell in Japan anymore. It's possible to have a global blockbuster worldwide and in Japan. That's what Mochizuki's saying. He's saying it's not inevitable. Yeah, so don't say leaving Japan behind is something you can't help to pursue non-Japanese fans. So yeah, he's saying it's not. It doesn't have to be inevitable, right? That's kind of what's happened though with Final Fantasy. You know, its relevance in Japan has been fading, and this latest entry has not helped that situation. And then I think he just tweeted the whole lot again in Japanese. Now let's have a look at this Bloomberg article. So this is an article he wrote for Bloomberg. Now, it's in Japanese, which maybe Johannes can read this. I cannot. My Japanese is baby level, right? Like a toddler. Think about toddler. That's my Japanese. I can't read all these kanji. So we've got our handy dandy Deep L. Now the reason I'm using Deep L is because it's a better translation bot than you know, just Google Translate, in my opinion. So can we open that in Deep L? Let's make it a bit bigger. So here's the original Japanese on that side. On the left and on the right we have the translation. So yeah, they abbreviate Square Enix to Square Eni, so that's why it says that like that there. Square Enix's new Final Fantasy 16 sales down on first week. This was written yesterday. Famitsu estimates a 90% drop from the first week of release and week worldwide as well. Impossible to build up further sales without a significant price cut, experts. So that's just the you know, the bit at the beginning. It's like, you know the little blurb they put at the beginning? It's like that bit there. It's this right here. It's this bit. It's that. So it's just like a little summary of what's in the article. That's why it's written like that. Oh, where's that page gone now? I just had open. Right, here it is. Sales of the popular game series Final Fantasy 16. I like this. Look, FF16 in brackets. Which was released on 22nd June by gaming giant Square Enix Holdings, have been sluggish. This is likely to add to the sluggish share price movement. And hang on, what was that? A subscription? What was that? What was that noise? Did we get a subscription? I need to check on the thing. Is that what happened? We did. Xander A, thank you for subscribing. I missed your little thing. Let me see. Can I play it again? Oh no! The panda's underneath the thing. What the hell? Why is that underneath? How do I fix that? Oh dang! How do I make this on top? Oh my god, that's so annoying. This is so annoying. Why is it underneath? On top? Why is the alert box underneath the other box? How do I change that? Oh my god, that is so annoying. Can I move it? Hang on, is it locked? It's not locked. Why is it like that? I think I'm no good with all these these goddamn tech things. This alert, it wasn't underneath before. How did it go underneath? It used to be on top. Oh my god. Thank you for subscribing, Xander A. Even if the alert wasn't great. Okay, unlock this. Now. It's still underneath. How do I move this one to the top? This is so goddamn annoying. Bring to top. Shouldn't it say bring to top or something? Group. Oh my god, this is so annoying. Remove, interact, rename, properties, projector. How I do it? Does no one know how to do that? The hell? So I have to like turn off. Like I'd have to turn off the whole thing and then so you can see the alert on the top. So now you can see it. I don't know why like the thing is on top of that. What? How I can't fix it. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this off stream. I didn't even know that was like that. It wasn't last time because we haven't been subscribers for a while, so I didn't know it was like that. Oh my god. Hang on, let me put my thing. It's still on top of it. I have no idea why that's like that. Oh wait, hang on. Wait, I think this might fix it. Oh, it was that. Okay, you have to literally move it up in the thing. Yes, there, that's on top! It's on top now! It's on top! Thank you for the subscription, Xander A. Xander A says, no problem, these are great discussions. And yes, Twitter's so toxic. It's so toxic. We've moved a lot of our operations now onto the Discord, basically. And we definitely have more of a chill vibe on the Discord server, and you know, we like to joke around and stuff over there as well, so it's pretty cool. Everyone's pretty cool. Trying to keep we have had a couple of problems with people coming in and causing trouble, but you know, they're not there anymore. So on the whole, it's just a good vibe over there, and you can talk about all the nerdy sales stuff you want to your heart's content. Okay. So yeah, I didn't realise you had to like literally pull it up the sources menu. It has to be on top like that in order for it to be physically on top. So anyway, I fixed it now. There's lock. Okay, there we go. So let's continue with this article. Okay, so according to estimates released by Famitsu on 6th of June, the game, which was released on 22nd of June, sold 37,763 units in Japan in its second week. So that's from the 26th of June to 2nd of July, down approximately 90% from 336,027 units in the first week. The statistics do not include the number of digital versions sold. Digital is going to be like, 30% or something like that, right? Final Fantasy is Square Enix's second most popular series, along with Dragon Quest, and the market had hoped that the launch of this major title 7 years after Final Fantasy 15 in 2016 would help boost the company's slumping game sales. Now the slumping game sales, we talked about this, like, yes, Matsuda is gone, but his legacy still lives on. It was him that greenlighted a whole lot of these games and all their plans for it, like, you know, a year, 2 years ago. But we're seeing those games now and all the plans they had in place that are releasing now. And we had that whole deluge of games that came out all packed together at the end of last year, kind of beginning. It was more the end of last year, like just back to back games, like really close. Like they just sent all these games out to die, like a bunch of them, right? With some of them didn't get much promotion and stuff like that. So Mochizuki's saying like it was hoping that it would help Square Enix's sales. Now worldwide it did okay, in my opinion. I said this before. This is what I was saying on Twitter. On Twitter, I said I thought the game just did okay. That the worldwide sales of 3 million, I said it was okay. It wasn't really very good, and it wasn't like, you know, you can't call it's not a flop. You know, I just said it was just okay. Oh my god, people just went absolutely crazy. I was just like, okay, acceptable. It's not. It could have been better, but it was not a flop. It's okay. Just okay, flat okay. People, you can't say it's okay. Oh no, it's still based and all this. I was just like crazy. I was, oh my god. This is when I was just like, I can't be. Basically, what I did, I think I just muted a whole bunch of people and just like I can't. I'm not even. I've got more important things to worry about than people going crazy on Twitter or just tweeting about the figures that I was like. It declined. It declined from the previous games, and the sales figures is just okay, man. And we already had the rumor from Imran Khan about Square Enix slightly, remember that slightly panicking thing? They said that Imran Khan reported on that, which obviously is just, we can say it's just a rumour, right? But Imran Khan has, you know, been right on a lot of stuff. But yeah, we're going to take that with a pinch of salt. He did say that. And then, right after that, we had Yoshi P said, oh, you know, we don't expect the game sales to be that, you know, explosive right at the beginning. We'll get this 18-month plan, everything. I don't remember ever hearing about like some AAA game coming out and them saying, "Oh, we don't expect the game sales to be that great at launch, and it's just we're doing this 18-month." I was like, "Well, hold up. When you ever hearing about this? When you're having to do some plan because the sales aren't going to be so obviously." 3 million I think is okay, but that might not be what Square Enix is looking for. Square Enix wants this to be selling more. They want it to be selling like, you know, some you know, like Resident Evil. So what was it? Didn't last Resident Evil sell like 10 million? What did last Resident Evil sell? Now, Final Fantasy 15 did sell 10 million worldwide. That took years and years and years and years, and like this discounts up the wazoo, right? You know, Square Enix doesn't want that. They decided this game is a full price. Now, full price means $70, right? By the way, this game was priced at, I think, 9,000 yen. Someone correct me wrong, but wasn't this 9,000 plus yen? And it's certainly on the PSN store. This game was like 9,000 yen, right? Hang on. Let me see. Do we have the price on the thing? What was the price? On here? Yeah, it was 9,000 yen. It's on here, 9,000 yen. Right? That is a lot. That is expensive. Now we know that the pricing in Japan is a bit, you know, it's different from in the West or most of the West, where the pricing is variable. In general, RPGs are just more expensive than the other games in Japan. It doesn't matter what the budget of the game was. Like, if it's an RPG, it costs more. Like, it can be some rinky-dink little AA. Doesn't matter. It costs more. Right? I don't know why. Maybe because of the perceived value that maybe because RPGs are really long and it's perceived value that it costs more. I really don't know. But the fact is, yes, the retail recommended retail price is 9,000. Now, you might be able to find it cheaper than that if you look. Maybe Amazon has some discounts, or I don't know if it does it. Maybe it has a discount. Does it? Amazon. Oh no, I can't even see the price. I have to change this. So if you want to use the postcode, use 601-8501. Okay, 601-8501. Okay, yes, there's an 18% discount from Amazon. This is on Amazon, directly from Amazon Japan, and it's you can get it for 8,091 yen. But the price on the PSN store is not reduced. I think it might be even a little bit more than 9,000 yen, but don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. It might just be the 9,000. So anyway, if anyone knows, you can let me know. So yeah, you know, this Kirby remix is kind of chill, isn't it? Did anyone here play Forgotten Lands? I really liked that game. I thought that game was amazing. I had so much fun with it. I had so much fun. Okay, so oh my god, where did I get to on this thing? Right. According to the company, Final Fantasy 16 was released exclusively for the Sony Group's PlayStation 5 home video game console and sold approximately 3 million units worldwide in the first week after launch. Sales were significantly down compared to the previous title, which sold approximately 5 million units on the first day of release alone. See, Mochizuki, it's the exact same thing I tweeted out. People coming at Mochizuki? Because I tweeted that out too. I was always down. And I went, oh no, you can't say this. No. Oh my god. According to a survey by Famitsu, the previous Final Fantasy FF15 sold 72,542 units in the second week after launch. Also, which was also a decrease of approximately 90% compared to the first week. This title was expected to see a recovery in sales by the second week, but the sales fell by 90% as in the previous title. So this translation, I don't know, is a bit off. Because obviously I don't think that he meant it's going to sell more in the second week or something like that. I think what he meant was that it wasn't going to, the drop isn't going to be like, it wouldn't be as severe, like it wouldn't be 90%, maybe it'd be 70 or 80% or something like that. I imagine that's what he means, because I don't know what recover, because it wouldn't recover in sales, because that's just not a thing that happens. Why did it do that? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Hideki Yasuda, an analyst at Toyo Securities, analyzes that the results are very severe and it will be impossible to build up sales any further unless the price is significantly lowered. He pointed out that a large part of the failure was the result of prior publicity that the actual game itself so far being removed from past Final Fantasy games that it left consumers behind. Yeah, so Yasuda's saying that because the game it's so much different from the previous titles. That's what they're saying here. A large part of the failure was the result of the prior publicity and the actual game itself being so far removed from past Final Fantasy games that it left consumers behind. So maybe he thought the publicity was lacking. Maybe the marketing was lacking. It's hard to tell with a machine translation, but that's roughly what they said. But obviously we're using machine translation, so please take all of that article with a grain of salt, unless Mochizuki provides, or maybe did he provide an English one and I'm just being a dummy and he had an English one. Did he have an English one of that article? We did not, just I wasted my time reading that. Where did this go? Did he have one? There's a Japanese one. No, this is something else. That's Web3. What about Sega, where that Sega one's translated? Oh no, wait, there is an English one. No, is that what I opened? Oh well, I'm a dummy. There is an English one. Oh no, is this one locked? Oh. No. Is it locked? No, it's not. Oh well, I'm a dummy. I read that stupid translation. I didn't need to. I didn't realise it was a translation. Okay, never mind. Ignore that whole translation. Let's read that next bit again. Okay, so here's a proper translation that's not from the thing. So let's quote Hideki Yasuda again. He said, "Everything in 16 is so different from the previous Final Fantasy games that fans loved. Even taking into account the number of people who might have purchased the game digitally, the sales figures are low," he said. "It would be difficult to sell more without a deep price cut." So, I mean, it is more or less the same thing, but yeah. I didn't even realise there was an English one. I didn't look properly. Sorry about that. There is an English version. But outside with the sales figures part, it's like basically the same. Like the content here is the same. So yeah. So now continue from what Yasuda said here. Basically, if you look at what your GP said this 18-month plan was to increase game sales, because the game sales are not going to be that good at launch, I feel like well, what are the options? What could they possibly do to increase these sales, right? And the only things I can think of was that you're going to be doing more marketing, you're going to be doing more marketing, or you are discounting the game. There's probably other things that I'm not aware of that maybe they can do, right? But those are the things I initially thought. More marketing costs more money, so I feel like there's going to be some sort of discounts, or maybe it'll be something like, if you buy the game, if you have PSN and you buy the game, you get a discount, or, you know, Square Enix has done previous things like that. It could be something like that. I'm not entirely sure. What's this here? One sec. Who jumping on the show here? No one's jumping in, Vinimac. Do you want to jump in? Come and chat with me. We kind of did the sales a bit differently this week, where I just talked about each game as it came up. But I've done the Final Fantasy 16 section. Look at the rest of the sales. Number 3 is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That sold an additional 26,000. Now the interesting thing here, which I didn't look. Oh my god, why are all these windows open? Which I didn't look at properly. Which I only noticed afterwards, was that it actually increased like 4%. So it's bigger. It's bigger. So you will see it hopefully. So it is, where is it now? Here. So it stopped dropping and it's gone up, increased by 4%. Right, so this is like already starting to turn into an evergreen now. Number 4, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 10,000. Number 5, Ghost Trick, 8.3 thousand. Now, this is the Switch version here. Unfortunately, I think this game did not do very well at all. Now, the PlayStation version didn't chart. Yeah, so there is a PlayStation version of this game. It didn't chart, unfortunately. So that means it's sold below like whatever's at the bottom here, which is 1,600. So it's sold below that. So unfortunately, this re-release. I mean, maybe their Capcom's expectations weren't that high. It is a DS game, right? So maybe the expectations weren't that high, but the fact that 1, it launched low, 2, the sell-through is like maybe 40% maximum, and then 3, the PlayStation version didn't chart, doesn't seem that well to me. At number 9, number 6, I was reading that 9 there, we have 9 RIP, 9 RIP I think it's called, with 8,000. Now this is an otome game, which is a niche genre of games that's designed to appeal to a female audience. Now I don't know much about this, didn't know much about this particular game, but this is apparently very good for this developer. Published by Idea Factory. I'm not sure, I can't remember the name of it, but apparently this is very good for them. And you can see it like it's sold out. It look almost sold out, but it's sold through a lot of the stock. So apparently this is very good. So although it's like 8,000 for this style of game, for this company, apparently it's good. Number 7 we have Minecraft with 7.2 thousand. Number 8 we have Nintendo Switch Sports with 6.9 thousand. Number 9, another new release. This is Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus for Nintendo Switch, 5.8 thousand. Now I think this is low. Now so my first comment was like, I think this is low. But then some people pointed out to me that, you know, it is the game. It's like 7 years plus removed from the original release of the game, so this is a very, very late port. So that type of thing is going to affect sales, when I think it may have already been re-released. Maybe it was a Vita game and they released it on PlayStation 4. I think it was, right? So that type of thing affects sales, unfortunately. And Falcom, you know, they've made a lot of mistakes, and one of them was like waiting so long to port games to Switch and then just not really working to build an audience with certain games and stuff like that. So Leaving this game so long probably affected the sales potential, but nevertheless, it sold almost 6,000 and sold through like 60% of the stock. So I think it will sell through the rest of the stock. So I mean, expectations weren't crazy high. So you're talking about like people expecting this to sell like it's like 10,000. Johanna says Tokyo Xanadu was originally a Vita game, then it got a PS4 version with new content. Oh, okay, so that's what the EX Plus bit is, I guess. EX Plus. So this is the one that they put on the PlayStation 4. Okay. So I mean, yeah, like at that point, maybe you can't expect. I mean, I think it's low, but then maybe it wasn't expected to sell a lot because of the retailers' expectations were low. The retailers' expectations of what the stock they've ordered is it's like 10,000, about 10,000 copies. It looks like, roughly. So there we go. Number 10 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with another 5.3 thousand. Now we did have some other new releases, I think. So we have at number 15 with 4.6 thousand is the quintessential quintuplets Goto Pazu story. Now, I don't know about quintessential quintuplets. No, I've never watched that anime. Okay, I'm aware, I've heard of it, I know what it is. I haven't watched it. But this is a major like visual novel, right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. It's a visual novel, and this is not the first quintessential quintuplets game. I don't, you know, to me this sale doesn't look very well. I know these majors, I know they're like these visual novels, you know, they're not like crazy big sellers, but this is like sold through 40% of the stock, and so it still has a green bar. And the other thing I'd point out is that this is not a Switch exclusive game. Once again, this game is not Switch exclusive, but there's no PlayStation version in the chart. There is a PlayStation version of that game. It is not Switch exclusive at all. But the PlayStation version did not chart. It did not even sell 1,006, you know, more than 1,641 copies. So the fact that that version didn't chart obviously means that the overall sales are lower. So yes, this is not. This is also on PlayStation. I think it might be PS4 and PS5. Does anyone know? Is this PS4 and PS5 or just PS4 or whatever? Can I find it on here? Is it in this chart? I bet it's not even in here. This is like a low selling game. I don't know how to write quintessential quintuplets in Japanese. I don't even know how to write in bloody English, not in Japanese. Oh, it's not on here. Oh, what's it? Should I type? Isn't it like Gotoban? Goto? Is that it? I'll read this. That's probably it, right? You can type in English. How do you spell quintessential? Fucking, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, does anyone know? I can't bother to be trying to work that out. Yeah, and on PC. I was on PC. The Tokyo Xanadu. Kika says they pump up those visual novels like hotcakes, so they must not cost a lot to make. 5 Toban no. Oh, okay, thank you. Or go Toban no Hana Yome. Okay, thank you. Oh, I need to put go. If I type that, would it show me something? It's not showing me the games. It's on the games. It's not working. Okay, go. It's still showing me goddamn not the games. How can you filter by games? Hang on. Filter. Oh no, wait, no, this is all just these are DVDs. Oh well, look, well, I can't find the bloody thing. Put switch at the end. Wonderful. Oh wait, no, that did kind of work. Right. Is this the one that just came out, or is this it? Is this the one that just came out? This one here? Let me have a look. Is this it? What's the release date? Where's the release date? There's 2 left in stock. Wait, hang on a sec. Where's the release date? Oh my god. Am I blind? Where is it? Does it normally have the release date on here? I don't even see it. Oh my god, there's so many of these goddamn quintuplets games. What the hell? There's tons of them. What the hell? How are there missing this many? They have a different cover for each quintuplet. Why is this? What is this? I'm not even sure if this is the one that just came out. Well, I thought normally the release date's next to it, but I don't know. What are these other ones? Are these it? Are these? What are these ones? Is this the same game? Why is there so many different versions of the same game? Oh, here we go. Well, those were like ones with bonuses or something. Those were the bonus ones, right? These ones are like you can have a different cover of each one. So it's the same game and it's just different covers. Or just the one with all of them on it. Oh my god, we need to use... Where's the Google Translate? Goddamn Google Translate. Okay. We need this one. We need this one without the Amazon. Without the Amazon benefits on it. Okay. So this one, so there, it was on PlayStation 4. Is this the right game, or was this the wrong one? Is this the one that just came out? Where's the release date? Oh, here it is. Yes, it is this one, June 29th. Oh my god, the other one didn't have a release date on it. Okay, so this is the one that just came out. So there is indeed a PlayStation 4 version of this game. It just did not chart. So Switch version. Yeah, it wasn't I thought there was a PS5 version, but there isn't. The Switch version is all the way down in the chart at 3,529. These are not high selling games at all. But I don't know, maybe this is also because it's split up into all these different SKUs, that if it was all in one SKU it'd be higher. But like, there's all these different versions and you know. So yeah, it's at 6,074 the Switch version. We'll dub the visual novel. What are you talking about? Sorry about the motorbike. Stupid motorbike. Anyway, yeah, so they're not crazy big sellers, and they do knock them out. They're visual novels. Street Fighter, yeah, so we can talk about Street Fighter a little bit now. The PS4 version and the PS5 version are both here, with the quintessential quintuplets between them. But what is interesting here, and Mousy was the first one to let me know about this, or well, she didn't say specifically that it varies, but that it was maybe it's going to stay in the chart for a while, and that is quite possible because if we look at the chart here, where is it now? So Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter Street Fighter 6 PS5 version actually rose this week by 38%. The Street Fighter 4 oh my god, I'm getting mixed up with the numbers. I meant Street Fighter 6 PS4 version, not Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 6 PS4 version rose by 40%, right? So, you know, quite close, roughly the same. So the fact that both of those have risen by that amount, and yeah, so someone said earlier there was a they've added a new DLC, a new DLC fighter. So obviously that's raised interest in the game. So for a game like this, that's where they're adding fighters and content over time, it could potentially stay in the chart for a while. Now, what Mousy said, and the little bet she wants to set up, is like, will Street Fighter stay in the chart longer than Final Fantasy 16, which is now which is gonna drop off probably pretty fast. Right, so yeah, I believe this is what Mousy's meant. Yeah, Mousy says why I think Final Fantasy will drop out the charts before Street Fighter 5. So your bet was for both of the versions, right? Because you could have one version drop out and then the other one stay in. Whereas Final Fantasy 16, there is only one version. So yeah, we're gonna set up a bet like that to see, will Street Fighter stay in the chart longer than Final Fantasy? Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll set that up. So, it's quite possible that is a very, very, very substantial rise. And because the rise is roughly the same, like 38% and then 40%, yeah, it does make me think that probably the DLC fighter and everything did contribute to that. So yeah, that's very good for Street Fighter, which I think is going to end up being more successful than Street Fighter 5 overall. And we'll have to see how it goes and how long this can stick around in the chart. Could be a while. So it's at number 14 and number 16. So it could be a while. But it'll be very interesting to watch that, to see what happens. So that's about Street Fighter. We have Zelda's still hanging around. Okay, so next new release we're going to talk about is Everybody 1-2 Switch, which has been Google translated to Everyone 1-2 Switch, but basically means the same thing. So don't worry about that. It's Everybody 1-2 Switch. And this is something we don't see very often, a completely green sell-through bar, which means the sales were like in the range of 0 to 20% of stock. That's what that means, 0 to 20%. It doesn't mean it sold 0, it just means it's less than 20% of stock. So it's at number 20 and it sold 3,320 copies. So, oh god, what's that up? How would you work that out? 20%. If 3,000 is 20%, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, so it could be like another 12. Is that be another 12,000 hanging around? More than 12,000 copies? Would that be another more than 12,000? 10 to 12,000 copies just sitting around on the shelves, basically. Now this could, you know what? This could be one of those games that ends up selling like long term and just keeps selling and selling and selling. Because if you remember, the first 1-2 Switch game sold, I want to say it was like 3 million. Was it 3 million? Does anyone remember? Switch. Switch sales. Okay, Wikipedia. How old is this? I don't know how old this. When's this data from? As of. Okay, as of. Okay, so maybe this is the latest data. Where is it on here? Is it on here? Here. As of December 31st, 2021, which I guess they stopped reporting on it. What the hell? 3.63 million? Good lord. How much that sold? Wow, that's why they're making a bloody another one, because of that. A low effort game. What do you think the development costs were on 1-2 Switch? Peanuts. It's probably peanuts. I'm not saying it cost nothing, but it would have cost something. But like the game is like involves gameplay with using the Joy-Con. It's not. There's basically no graphics in the game. It's like actors on screen. Obviously there's menus and stuff like that, but like there's no like you don't have a character or moving around or split. It's no graphics like that is what I mean. It's like it's like what do you call it, just pre-made videos of these actors acting out the various mini games. So for a game like that, it probably costs hardly anything to make. And Nintendo's rich, man. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, you know, they're gonna make this. Nintendo's not only rich, they've got a bunch of money stashed away in a Scrooge McDuck bloody money bin somewhere, right? Okay, they got loads of money. So yeah, that's just probably because of next to nothing to make, and then to sell 3.6 million. That game sold. It wasn't quite near. It was like near. It was like $50 US, right? Yes, they made a lot of money from that. That's why they made a sequel to it. Good lord. I missed this chat. Sorry. Patrick Adams. Maybe gaming companies that have a YouTube channel could see an interest in subscribers due to what's going on right now. Maybe they probably have. They probably have a lot of subscribers anyway. Patrick, and also don't forget there's like Instagram and other avenues too. Did I already read that bit? I don't remember. Mousy back high. Patrick Adams. Tycho. Okay. You like Tycho. Xander A says Pikmin 4 is catching up to 16, but I think Mario Wonder will have the larger launch due to the Mario movie. Yeah, Mario Wonder's gonna be bigger than Pikmin 4, definitely. And I think the launch will be a lot bigger, even though those kind of 2D Marios tend to like sell over time, right? I still think that it will launch bigger than Pikmin 4. Now, I guess when you say catching up, you mean in the pre-orders, right? On the Comeg chart. Which I think I do have that here. Where is that now? I have that. I'll put it. Okay, yeah, so Pierre485 on Twitter made this chart. And this is when you align the... so basically you lined up the number of weeks that the pre-orders have been open, right? Aligned by a number of weeks it's been open. And when you do that, you see Pikmin 4 is the green line, and Final Fantasy 16 is the red one. So when you put them up like that, they're very close. You sort of Final Fantasy. So that's what I guess what Xander means by taking the lead, right? So it's possible that it could, like all games, see this upward trajectory. Sorry, I can't say that word. That you see at the end. That basically happens to all games. Like towards the end, more people pre-order, right? Anyway, so you could see a similar thing. So Final Fantasy 16 launched at 336,000. Now, what's the interesting thing is niche barrier. Look at niche barrier. Look at Pikmin. Let's look at the whole. Can we look at the whole Pikmin series? So here's Pikmin, and yeah, believe it or not, Pikmin 3 Deluxe is the highest selling Pikmin game in Japan. It launched at 171,000. Not quite getting to the Kirby barrier, but close. And the original Pikmin 3. Actually, the original Pikmin 3 was 100 and 2000, which for the Wii U was good. For the Wii U, that's good. The Wii U, well, not so hot for remembers. Yeah, and these new play control Pikmins, I think they only ever released those in Japan. Hey Pikmin, and these like packs, Pikmin 1-2 pack for GameCube didn't chart, I guess. And then these ones haven't released yet. Oh, well, Pikmin 1 and 2 physical hasn't released. So, looking at Pikmin 3 Deluxe being 171,000, then Pikmin 4 is definitely going to, yeah. Pikmin 4 is going to be over 200,000 easily. And then could it be over 300,000, right? That's I think that's definitely possible, to be honest with you. Yeah, so it's looking pretty good. Basically we did the whole chart. No, there was other new orders. New orders, new releases. So it was Cicatrice. I don't know anything about this game. It's an NIS game that sold 2,300. That's at number 22. So yeah, I mean, I guess it did okay for what it is. It's a low budget NIS game. Sold through 40%. And then we had, is that it? Up from the new releases. Yeah, that's it. Alright, is this why you shouted out Taiko? Because you saw this, Patrick, at the end. Taiko. Taiko's gonna drop out the chart, Patrick. It's at number 30. Will it drop out? Do you think it'll drop out? Do you think it'll be in the chart next week? Do you think it'll go up? What do you think? Is it possible? Can it rise? Right, we've been live for 2 hours. And nobody has joined the waiting room yet. If you would like to talk, don't forget, join the Discord. Link is in the chat. And then go into the waiting room. And then I will bring you into the on-air room when I am ready. So feel free to call in, talk about the topics at hand or some other related topic that you would like to talk about. Okay, so Mousy said visual novel's biggest cost is the voice actors. Is that right? Finny Max says you can mitigate that by not getting high-end voice actors. Any audiobook reader will work. Oh, yeah, but then you get like crappy, you know, not so good, you know, voice actor. Or just not dub the visual novel. Yeah, they can just not do that. They're usually dubbed in Japanese, and VAs in the West are picking up in the dub department for VN. What we need now is Phoenix Wright games really dubbed. When's the next Phoenix? That you'd think that they're kind of preparing like to release another Ace Attorney because they're releasing another collection, right? So you kind of do that if you're kind of prepping for a new release. I feel like, right? It's got to be. I feel like they haven't abandoned. I know. Like Capcom has abandoned some franchises. I don't know if that one is being abandoned. Actually, I don't know. I feel like there will be one. I could be wrong. Okay, so. I'm annoyed about that bot not doing what I asked it to do, but anyway, let's continue talking about the Famitsu charts. So now we're going to talk about the hardware, which normally I do the image of the hardware that I have because I always have this issue with not being able to make the thing bigger. because it's not an image, it's like a it's always annoying this. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Never mind. Right, so we're gonna get into this thing about the hardware, but we're what was that? Johannes says they have been treating Ace Attorney well recently. I think there'll be a new one in the near future. Yeah, hopefully it's not a dead franchise. They're fun games. I mean, I've only played a couple of them, but I liked it. I like the music in Ace Attorney, it's so funny. Okay, let's talk about its hardware sales and some theories that have been going around about the hardware. So, first we have the Nintendo Switch with 106,000, which is up on last week's, well, slightly up anyway, like 200, because last week is 105,990, so slightly up last week, which is very, very crazy high for a game in its 7th sales year. That is not what you usually see. So there have been some theories, or maybe it's mainly just one anecdote from Serkan Toto, I think is his name. He's an analyst out of Tokyo, and yeah, he said, oh, I was walking around in Akihabara, and like 99% of the tourists there were speaking in Mandarin, and you know, I think they're there buying Switches. It's something along those lines. Someone might have the tweet, I don't have it in front of me, but something along those lines he said, which is just anecdotal, but let's talk about that as a possibility, even though we don't have any, we don't really have any like real evidence, but let's talk about that as a possibility. So we know that there have been scalping issues going on that have been in the past. It happens, to be honest with you, it happens with every new system that comes out. It also happens with any item that's just in demand, you know, high in demand. It will just, and you end up scalpers buying them up and reselling them. So that did happen with the Switch. It happened with the Wii. It happens with the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. Happens with every system, right? That's just even happened to the Wii U at the beginning. Because at first, you know, even though the Wii U overall flopped, but in the beginning there's only a certain amount of them they can manufacture, and inevitably any item just goes scarce at launch like that. So it happened to the Wii U too. So that is an issue now, and it is an issue that persisted for much longer with the PlayStation 5 because of the issue with the components shortage that was as a result of the worldwide pandemic. So it's happened for a long time, and I think that, this is in my opinion, that scalping really just exacerbated the problem that was already existing in Japan with that declining sales of PlayStation games and hardware, and declining interest in the PlayStation platform, which was happening anyway since PS3 era, but then this kind of like got accelerated, I think. And so what we've had now is just constant, inexplicably low, or seemingly inexplicably low software sales with okay to good hardware sales. There was about 3 or 4 weeks at the beginning of the year where when the PlayStation 5 became more widely available, like the supply constraints were solved, and then there was a whole rush to buy them once it became fully available. So for like 4 weeks it outsold the Switch, right? Which I mean, the Switch is an old system, so you kind of would expect a newer system to outsell it, but it's just for those weeks, and it kind of dropped down since then. Now the thing is with these low software sales just haven't stopped. I mean, we're looking at the current chart now. This is the chart now. Final Fantasy 16 released last week, and 26 out of 30 titles are Switch. You know, there's 4 PlayStation games in the whole chart. Final Fantasy 16 did drop 90%, and then we had the other games we have in there are Street Fighter 6. I mean, that's basically two different versions of the same game, and then Diablo 4, which is probably going to drop out the chart next week. It's like there at the bottom. And then we had a whole bunch of games that released this week that had PlayStation 4 versions that did not chart. Cicatrice had a PlayStation 4 version. Yes, this game here, Cicatrice, did not chart. Ikaruga, pretty sure that had a PlayStation 4 version too. Didn't chart. At least have PlayStation, I don't know about PlayStation 5, but at least PlayStation 4 versions didn't chart. You know, the quintessential quintuplets game had PlayStation 4 version, didn't chart. So you've got these games. I think this one did this one have a PlayStation 4 version? I don't know if this Ripley's Otome game had a PlayStation 4 version. Maybe it didn't. Ghost Trick did. Ghost Trick most definitely had PlayStation version. Again, didn't chart. So you've got games that are releasing. That's what I said about like games that, you know, games that are you know, these kind of double A games. They're still releasing on PlayStation. They just don't chart. They're still there. They're still getting the releases. You know, kind of what I was referring to, what I said earlier. So they're still there. So that is why, you know, the situation with the PlayStation hardware sales has remained strange because of these software sales. This has been like, you know, this has been going on forever, right? So now let's entertain this idea that a load of Switches are being bought up by tourists. Specifically tourists. We're saying tourists and not like the scalpers were just buying. A scalper's just going to buy a whole bunch of systems to resell them, right? To resell them. They just buy a bunch of them. They don't use them themselves. They're buying them, hoarding them, and then reselling them for a profit. Whereas tourists going into Akihabara or wherever it is in Japan are going there most likely buying it for themselves or friends or family or something like that. And probably buying games. Now, so the reason why I think that games are also being bought is because of these software sales. Like, almost everything is up in the chart. Everything that's like, that didn't just release this week has gone up. Okay, Tears of the Kingdom up 4%. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 27%. Minecraft up 17%. Switch Sports up 12%. Smash Bros. Ultimate up 25%. Ring Fit Adventure up 26%. Splatoon 3 up 14%. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet up 2%. What's the other one? Breath of the Wild up 11%. Mario Party Superstars 25%, up 25%. Animal Crossing New Horizons up 13%. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe up 2%. Super Mario 3D World up 25%. Clubhouse Games up 6%. There's everything. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, up 19%. Momotaro up 12%. Kirby and the Forgotten Land up 17%. Taiko no Tatsujin up 12%. Every single game that didn't just release this week in the chart is up. Every single one is up. Even if it's only just by 2%, like with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Right? The stuff that's down is like Diablo 4 on the PlayStation 5 is down 23%. And then even Street Fighter was up. We discussed that before. And then Final Fantasy 16, which we discussed, is down 89%. Everything else in the chart that isn't just released this week has gone up. So I feel like if this was if tourists were buying these Switches for the purposes of, oh, there is selling them or they're something like that, right? And they're not buying games, I don't think these software sales would go up. So I think even if tourists are going into, who cares if it's tourists that buy them, first of all? Even if tourists are going in and buying these Switches, they're buying them for themselves or friends or family, and they are buying games with them. Otherwise, this would not be happening with all these games going up like this. You would start seeing some of them going down. But that's not what's happening. They are all up, every single one. So are tourists buying Switches? Probably. But they are also buying games. They're buying these Switches for personal use, or friends or family. This isn't like mass scalping like we saw before. Now, that's my opinion. Some people might think that that's not, but that's my opinion of the situation. Also, you need to really consider the momentum that Switch has had from the Mario movie, from one of the biggest releases of the year, Tears of the Kingdom, you know, from a direct where there were games announced that many people are interested in and or excited about, that Super Mario Wonder and so on. So that is really affected this, and why all the game sales, I think, have gone up. So yeah, maybe tourists are going and buying the Switches, but they're buying them for themselves most likely, and they're buying games with them. So I think it doesn't matter really. If we saw these high hardware sales and the software was like plummeting like we saw with the PlayStation games, then, you know, I might agree. But at this moment, that's not happening. Now we'll have to see the trend over time, and if the software sales are, if the hardware continues to stay really high and the software starts going down over time, you know, within the next few weeks and months, we'll see. At the moment, that is not what's happening. Hardware's high, but software's also high, is what we're seeing right here. So I don't know what anyone else in the chat thinks. So this is my opinion. So you're welcome to disagree with me. So I don't really have any new comments here. So does anyone want to join in the call? This Kirby music is so relaxing. I might just nod off to sleep. Well, let's continue then with a couple of things then to wrap up the show. So let's see. Oh, the only thing that I'm going to talk about this, because I care. They announced more vinyl for Shin Megami Tensei 30th anniversary vinyl sets. Now, this is from Fangamer. They already released one of these like last year, which is the SMT3 one. So I already have that one. It's already out. But they've announced, and I checked the Fangamer website. They're not on there. So I guess they just haven't opened pre-orders or anything yet. But if you look closely at this, it even says here in this article, basically, I thought, oh, they're just doing 4 Apocalypse and 5, adding. No. They're including the games that did not release in the West, apart from, yes, there was a one iOS version of SMT1 that's delisted now, is completely gone. But the first final set has SMT1, 2, and If on it. The second one has SMT3, I have that one. Then they're going to release one with SMT4 and 4 Apocalypse on one vinyl set. Another one is SMT5. And this artwork on the front looks amazing. The one with Demi themed on it was also already really good. So you probably think, oh, I don't care about the goddamn vinyl post-fun. But I do. I care about it. I'm getting it. So, but as we all know, because Atlas is an L company, they have still not released officially localized versions of. I know, yes, there was an iOS one, but it doesn't exist anymore. Of SMT 1, 2, and If. I personally have not played them. So. The only way you can get access to those games, like, I guess legally, right, is like they're on the Japanese NOS. So like they're in Japanese. So no, they're on NOS, whatever. They're on NOS, but why are they not just translate them, man? Oh my god. Just Atlas, just L after L. There's like so many L decisions. Like, it's just like, why are they not? They never localize those games. There's so many games. So if you go and look at their catalog again, there's a vast majority of their games they have never localized. The vast majority of them. Here we go, the Atlas hate. Yes! Yes! Yes, just Vinimac. It begins. I'm glad you're here. You see how it is? Vinimac pops up. It's like when you say, "Oh, look at the Atlas hate," it pops up. It pops up when he hears me saying that. You've been here. I bet you've been here the whole time, Vinimac. But you've been here the whole time without asking people to come on the show. Okay, maybe you're busy at work, whatever. It's because it's a solo show this week. Nobody's available to come on the call. Okay. Let's see. Anyway, I don't know when they're gonna release these. Just as more details will be at a later date. Yes, you can you still buy the SM2 one? I have it. It has I think it has different coloured vinyl inside. Oh no, this just links to their article, not the actual site. Do they sell it anymore? Product page. You must be able to get this, right? Yeah, you can still get it. I know, because this is so sad. They typed in here, in Japanese as well, this product cannot be shipped to Japan. Now, I looked at the Japanese Fangamer and I think you just can't get it. Because of whatever licensing agreement they've got a licensing, okay, so you have to go to the Japan one. There is a Japan one, but they don't have that vinyl. Last time I looked anyway, maybe it's there now. So, oh, no we don't! No we do not! That's why you put a laughing emoji. Johanna says we need the SMT9 remake. No, I heard that game is awful. We do not need that. Yeah, so they didn't release so I'm looking through this now. They didn't release that vinyl in Japan. Which, yeah, I don't think they did. I'd be kind of pissed if I was in Japan. And they didn't release that vinyl. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be kind of pissed. And it says they won't deliver to Japan. And I think the reason for that is that the licensing. Like, they've licensed it only for the West, basically. So that's why you can't buy it. Even if you go on the Japanese Fangamer, like here, it doesn't ship to Japan. So, you know, I feel bad for people. Oh no, wait, maybe there's a loophole. Can you get it on Eurogamer? Or maybe there's a loophole and you can order it from here and you can order it from. Oh my god, they've got these Me-Man pins. Look at these. Oh no, I low-key want these. They've got Me-Man pins. You have found 2 Me-Man. I low-key want these, I'm not gonna lie. This one almost sold out. See, I get FOMO when I say, oh god, I can't look at things like this because I get FOMO. I don't like, the only thing is I don't like this, I actually don't like this art. I don't like the way it's drawn like that. I don't like, why is Pixie she looks so, I don't know. I'm not keen on the way that she's drawn. Oh god, what was I gonna say now? Oh yeah, maybe there's a loophole and they can order it from here. From this one. It doesn't say it doesn't deliver to Japan. I don't know. But yeah. Has anyone played that game? I've heard the music of SMT9 is good. Oh, is it? It probably is, I don't know. I've seen gameplay of SMT9, I see what it looks like. And it's a really bare bones looking game. Because I think they originally wanted it to be an online game, and then they couldn't do that, and then eventually they did make an SMT MMO, but it's something like that. And then this one was supposed to be online, but they couldn't get it done. So they just released that. So that's why it looks really weird. It looks kind of weird and bare bones. It looks like it looks kind of like this like big empty space. Obviously, this isn't. You know, it's the original Xbox game. It's still, you know, it's 20 odd years ago. But like, I'm talking about even for what games looked like back then, it looks empty, right? I just looked at some gameplay on YouTube. That's how it looked to me. It was kind of empty. But Yeah, anyway. I want these goddamn vinyls. I want these vinyls. Because I'm getting weirdo FOMO. I get weird about it. I don't know, but this is why I can't show anyone my flat because the amount of stuff I've accumulated in here is like taking over the flat. Like it happened during so what happened during the pandemic when I was stuck at home by myself, and the reason for that was basically because of the health condition I have, right? I'm immunocompromised, and like I could not put myself at risk of catching COVID. So I had to stay at home, and in that time I just started all this collecting, basically, is what happened. I just ended up with tons and tons, because I wasn't going out spending any money, so I just hadn't like money to spend on other things. I just ended up collecting all this stuff, so that's what happened. And I just didn't stop. Well, I'm not buying like as much stuff as then, but if something comes up like this, I get weirdo FOMO. I'm not gonna lie, I get FOMO. I can't explain it. Mousy says, I think I remember a YouTube video emulating it, but it had like 9 roots. And emulation for OG Xbox is so bad it crashes. Yeah, I think that is what it is in the game. There's 9 like possible endings. That's why it's called 9. And it's confusing. It's not the 9th entry, but it's because there's 9 possible endings. I think it's the reason why it's called FF16. I guess at the time it wasn't an issue because there hasn't been as many SMT games, but now because there's been loads, like maybe people think that is the 9th one, but I don't know. No, it's not super mainline. Like Atlas, they don't like to acknowledge that one. They don't like to acknowledge that one much because it was like, I think it got panned at the time, so they don't like to talk about that one. They have acknowledged it, like when they had like exhibitions and stuff like that. They'll have different box art, and displayed and show that one, but otherwise they never talk about it. They never talk about it. I mean, I like this. If you are into like collecting like these vinyls and little things like this, oh my god, this like fan gamer site is dangerous, man. They have like all this like, don't come on this site. Like, it's a dangerous site, I'm not even joking. Don't come on here. I guess some of this stuff is sold out. Oh, they have a pin. They said this is from SMT4. How is that SMT4? I mean, they had those in every SMT game. How is that SMT4? That doesn't even make any sense. Please explain that. I really wish they'd port SMT4, but I feel like it's stuck on the 3DS. I don't know. They're gonna do that anytime soon. They might do, because I guess they did. What's it called again? Etrian Odyssey. But those are DS games, not the ones they versions they did, but the DS ones, which apparently is like different from the 3DS ones. Which kind of changed it a bit, but I don't know. Anyway, this site's really dangerous, like, because like they have. Oh, you never visit this site? Hang on. Yeah, I think I've seen part of their videos, like 1+ hour long. Mousy says, well, they stylize it as 9, not. Yeah, like they do it like 9, which I think is less. Yeah, they write it as 9 in capitals like that, so maybe it's less of an issue in Japanese because. Like, they don't write their own numbers like that, but 9 isn't a Japanese. I don't know. Maybe it makes more sense in Japanese. I don't know. Mousy says, yes, it's super long, that one game kit crushing on the person, but it really sounds so good. Atlas port what? Atlas port hardly anything. This is the whole thing. Like, they could maximize. They could like really like do better with their IPs if they ported stuff and stop doing nonsense like. Not releasing what's it called again? Not SMT. Persona 3 or whatever. They're not having a Switch version. Like, there's no way that game is passing. And I said take receipts, whatever. That game is not passing the Kirby barrier in Japan. The Kirby barrier Do I have to explain the Kirby barrier again? It's like every week I've got to explain this goddamn Kirby barrier. The Kirby barrier. In fact, I made a little thing on, like, with the bot that I set up on our Discord, on our Discord server. I set up the bot so that if anyone types in Kirby barrier, the bot would trigger the bot to bring up this explanation of what the Kirby barrier is. I can just trip the chat. It's fine. I can trip the chat. What do you mean? The bot? Oh yeah, but I have to show it on the screen. The bot? Because she wants Vinny to have heart issues. Look, I could have made the description. No. I could have made the description worse by putting in there that it's a port. I didn't write a port in there because I know that Vinny and Jago and the whole gang of them will all kick off. So I didn't put that in there. Alright. Okay, so I'll read this. This is what I wrote for the bot. Thank you, Mousy. For the bot. This is the description I wrote. The Kirby barrier, copyright, is JCat's gold standard for a successful game launch in Japan. If a game is AAA or high profile, it should be able to pass the Kirby barrier. The Kirby barrier was set by a game called Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, aka Kirby Wii Deluxe. It is a re-release, aka port, of a Wii game that overperformed, selling 189,000 first week on the Famitsu charts, even outperforming the original Wii game. In terms of sales, Kirby is not one of Nintendo's higher performing franchises, so 189k should be a low bar for most high profile releases to pass. And as I said before, the reason why this bar is here, we've talked about this before. Let's go and do it again. Every time we need to explain. Let's look at the PlayStation 4. And the top selling games on PlayStation 4, the top 5 games, obviously not Minecraft launched low but ended up selling 426,000. So you have to kind of order it by what the first week sales were. They all very comfortably passed the Kirby barrier. Right? So this is why the Kirby barrier is there. You should be able to pass 189,000 first week. I can tell you some games. So Final Fantasy 16 passed the Kirby barrier. It performed very badly in Japan for a Final Fantasy 16 game, but it passed the Kirby barrier, right? As it should. So it did not pass the Kirby barrier, then oh my god, that would be terrible. But it did, right? So games that have come out that are new versions of games on this chart that I've not released yet, I think will pass the Kirby barrier. Will be the next Monster Hunter and the next Dragon Quest. And we already saw Final Fantasy do that, and Kingdom Hearts. Knack, obviously that's not, I mean that's dead now at this point, so not Knack. Metal Gear, Metal Gear Solid, they're making a remake, right? A remake of 3. A remake of 3. As that's a remake and not a new game, obviously the sales potential to sell as much as what Metal Gear Solid 5 did is already down. So chances are, whenever that releases, which I don't know if it had a date. I don't know if that got dated. Did it? Did they put a date on it? Or a year at least? Did they say like 2024? Well, okay, that is a chance we won't pass the Kirby barrier. Persona 5. It's 268,000 on the PlayStation 4 with an additional 70 something thousand on the PlayStation 3. A total of like 345,000 or something like that. First week. The next Persona game we got coming up, Persona 3 Reload, I do not think will pass the Kirby barrier. That game is releasing in 2024 with PlayStation 4 version. PlayStation 4 will probably be dead in Japan by then, with the way the sales are going. So no, I do not think that will pass the Kirby barrier. Now, Persona 6, which will probably be coming at 2025 at the earliest. who knows what the chart's going to look like by then. It's too early for me to make any prediction like that, but I do not believe it will sell as high as Persona 5. No, I do not believe that in Japan. It's basically, if the market remains how it is, where PlayStation is 10 to 15% of the market, then it's just impossible for it to sell the same. At the time when Persona 5 came out, the PlayStation had like a 40% share of the market, so it's just not possible. So that's my opinion. I don't think it'll sell the same, but I can't tell you how much I think it'll sell because it's too far out at this point. Persona 3 reloads, I do not believe it'll pass the Kirby barrier. Now maybe it does and maybe I'm wrong, which would be really great for the game, but it's a pretty high hurdle at this point for a remake. It's not, first of all, it's already a remake, but that's like what, the third or fourth version of Persona 3. So I don't know, man. And you've already got Persona Portable that's on modern platforms. The other two aren't. As in, there was original release and then there was one like Persona 3 Fez, right? Those two aren't, but Persona 3 Portable is. So I think that's an additional problem. That it's just, I don't think it's going to pass the Kirby barrier. Yeah, original Fez, Portable, then Relay. So it's a fourth version of Persona 3. Instead of making a fourth version of Persona 3, why didn't they do something with the first two Persona games, you know? Or something else completely, not Persona, you know? A fourth version of Persona 3 expected to... Now, I think Atlas expects it to sell a lot. And I think that they think that it's going to... Somehow, and the reason I think they think this is because of the decisions they're making, right? They think that their sales are not going to drop in Japan at all. There's not going to be any effect. And to me, that just seems bizarre. It's just, how can your game sell the same when the platform you're releasing it on is like a tiny proportion of the market now? It's just not possible, and not even a PC version will make up the difference. PC's grown, it's still, you know, not many people have got like a gaming PC in Japan. You know? There's probably like a few 100,000 people that have one, I would guess. The versions of Persona 3. What are we talking about, SMT3 or P3? P3. SMT3 did have a couple of versions, yes. But we're not talking about that. If they were releasing another version, imagine, right? They just released a HD version of SMT3. Imagine if they were now doing a complete remake of SMT3. What do you think that would sell in the light of the fact that they've just recently released one? Released a version of it, and that would be the fourth version of that game. You'd be in the same situation. In the wrong chat. How are you in the wrong chat? This is the live chat. This is what you should be. I don't know, maybe Elaine's not even listening to the show. I'm answering the question. Is it possible to version with Dante or not? The one that they remastered, you had to pay for Dante, I believe. You had to pay for him. You had to pay. That's funny. I think you had to pay extra. Oh, that's Atlas as well with the DLC. I understand. Okay, that was a licensed character, but like Atlas does some weirdo DLC nonsense. Capcom wants their money, of course. Yeah, you can't just do. You have to things have to be relicensed. So that, yes, I kind of understand, but you know, I understand that. But the other DLC decisions don't make sense, just because they are greedy, I guess. They want to make money, which all companies want to make money. But the way Atlas does their DLC is not the best, I would say. The DLC, they could do it in a better way, I think, than what they currently do. Okay. Anyway, so I was talking about that vinyl. Oh my god, I'm not even looking at the right goddamn web browser. No, the right web browser. So yeah, I was talking about that vinyl. I think that's most of what I wanted to talk about, to be honest. Oh, there was that leak, that quote-unquote leak about Persona 3 Reloads being, I don't know, is this real? About it being $69.99, so $70 US. Okay, so we don't know if that's real or not, but we could talk about the hypothetical of it being that price, I guess. It wouldn't surprise me, because this game is releasing in 2024. The issue they have with that price is that that's going to be a tough pill for some people to swallow, because you've already got a situation where it's a double A JRPG, right? And straight off there's some people that just don't think they're worth as much. Fair enough, right? People don't want to pay $60, they wait for a discount, fine. But then at $70 when this game is, you know, is a lower budget game, and it also has a PlayStation 4 version, I think some people are just not gonna be that happy with that. And then the other issue is that I know Atlas is going to put DLC on top of that price. They're gonna do DLC nonsense, which is gonna, I don't know what they're gonna do. If they do that, people are gonna be so, oh my god, people are just gonna not, they're gonna kick off if they do that. I can't imagine they're gonna release this game without DLC, because the reason people are gonna kick off about that is because the fact that this game is not the, one of the reasons people wanted a remake of Persona 3 was because there's no like complete version of the game that has all the contents. That's what people wanted. So they especially when the rumors first started happening, oh, people were like excited because, oh, we finally get a definitive edition of Persona 3. Turns out that's not what they're doing. They're remaking the game, but they're remaking it like the very first one. And I think they may be putting some of the first content in there, but not like the portable content with the female protagonist, and not the DLC. I think DLC or whatever it's called, the little answer thing. They're not putting that on there. So if they do that and then put DLC on top of it, oh my god. But would it surprise me that Atlas does that? No. But anyway, this is hypothetical. This isn't confirmed, by the way. This is supposedly from a survey, a Sega survey that they're doing or something. It says they want you to evaluate the description for the upcoming game. I don't know, because if this survey went out to people, I haven't seen anyone else talk about it. Wouldn't more than one person do the survey and potentially be able to take a screenshot of it? But this only came from one source. Now that original tweet has been deleted. That original tweet is deleted. I saved the photo. The tweet's deleted, so this could be fake. But I said we'd talk about it hypothetically. I don't think they should charge this money for this particular game, especially if they're going to put DLC. Oh, okay, but yeah, but that's ridiculous. DLC, demons and fusion and character outfits. Again, that's ridiculous. But then Atlas does this with every single one of their games. They do it with every single one of their games. So yeah, they probably will do it. And people will be pretty annoyed about it. It's already kicking off now. The game's not even out. Yes, they probably will do a Persona 5 costume pack. They do it with every game. Every recent one. They will. They'll have these costume packs and people pay for their stupid little DLC. You know, people pay for it. I personally skip that stuff, says Johannes, yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, this Kirby music is sending me to sleep. Hey, dang, yo. Hi. Well, I'm gonna be wrapping the show up now, Dank. Because I've been live for 3 hours and this Kirby music is sending me to sleep. It's getting dark here. VMac says, yes ma'am, I wish I could. Come on the show? Ah. Thank you, Vinnie Mac. I appreciate it, but hopefully you can come on next time. Sonic got a Joker costume, yeah, that's what I mean. That type of nonsense. I'm going to be charging for all that nonsense. Every Atlas game gets a Joker. Exactly. Actually, no. They didn't put any Joker any of that in SMT5. I was surprised, actually. They didn't. Surprisingly enough, they didn't do that. So it's not every Atlas game. But they did it for, what's it called again? Etrian Odyssey. Well, actually, is it Joker? I think it is Joker that's in it. Who's in it? They put like a whole bunch of characters in, like characters in there, like the character portraits that I think you had to get. Anyway, I didn't buy it, so I don't know, but I think you had to get. It was maybe a bonus or something. Yeah, they put it in Etrian Odyssey. Okay. So let's wrap up this show. Thank you everybody for joining me this week for a bit more subdued, sleepy show. I think this music is making me subdued and sleepy. Thank you everyone for joining me. Sorry, Dank. Yeah, ending right now. Hopefully, you can listen back to the VOD. That'd be nice. During the oh my god, sorry, my friend's ringing me. I'll have to. We're gonna end the show. I'm gonna call him back. I'll call him back. Don't worry. Thank you for everyone that joined me today. Thank you, Thomas Garcia, Johannes, Mousy, Game Killer 64, J2 Blue, Xander. Thank you everyone that joined us today, and also R, who just said no, which I don't even know what that was reference to, or maybe that's a bot. I don't know. Patrick Adams, Zombie Techpads, and Dank. Thank you everybody. I hope you enjoyed the sleepy Kirby music. And the allegations of me hating Kirby need to stop. Vinnie Mac, they need to stop. I do not hate Kirby, but the Kirby barrier is there, right? It's there and established, right? Games need to pass the Kirby barrier, and there are games coming up that I don't think will pass the Kirby barrier, and then there's some that I'm not sure. So I think about that. I want to think about Mousy's idea of doing like an infographic. It's just that I don't know how to do those. Mousy, help me. Mousy's probably gone. But anyway, thank you everyone, and we'll catch you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button please, it helps out the channel, and also join our Discord for a very fun community, and also enables you to call into the show. Thank you everyone, bye bye.